Jam around! Welcome to World Class Bullshitters, the epitome of pop culture. I'm your host, G.M.P.C, and with me tonight is the Bombay bad boy himself, Big Rig Nick U-Town.
Glad to be here on this wonderful Thursday night with all of you to talk about a lot of things that have happened this week. So many things.
It's a crazy episode, folks. That's why we had to start it right now. And also, we're joined by American Ramrod Coach Kendo Slice.
Yeah, I was trying to think of something clever to say, but I've got nothing. I mean, it is the best month of the year, though, because it's the shortest.
I know, right? Winter's
almost over. It's a short month. Spring is right around the corner. And only 22 more days of companies, although there hasn't been a whole lot of that. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, it's funny how it hasn't been that way. It's very strange. Very strange.
It's weird. It's like it's June and we live in an Arab country. Like you don't see anything. Nothing is
You know what? You know what also is weird is that like now when you have to apply for a job, I can't just use the color of my skin. I have to use the content of my character to get the job. It's weird. It's strange.
I had a dream that happened once.
Yeah. Which the irony, Nick, is that's how I've judged you this entire time is by the content of the character, and that's why I don't really fucking like you. But that's okay.
Yeah, that's fair. No, that's fair. I am 100% an asshole. That's fair. That's fine. I get it.
No, he's not getting a brown pass. I am judging him by the content of his character.
Listen, we won't get our own month for another 100 years, so it's fine. Okay. It's okay.
I can't wait for that one.
Yeah,
Pan Asian History Month or something or another.
Yeah, like a South Asian History Month, or like where the Diwali or Holi will be like a national holiday. Yeah, give that another 100 fucking years.
Look, here's the funny part about that, and so you say that what'll end up happening is they'll have an Asian, which they already do have an Asian Heritage Month or something like that, but they'll have like an Asian History Month, and they will pimp it all towards like Chinese people. And then that'll just piss off the Koreans, the Japanese, the Pacific Islanders, even though most of them won't care. And they'll show a lot of Vietnam War movies for some reason. They're like, well, they won that one, so they should be proud. It's like, half the countries that are in Asia didn't even participate in that one. And they'll completely slight India because no one ever actually thinks that is an Asian country, even though it very clearly is.
Yeah, we're just the quiet minority. It's fine though. It's okay.
Are you really that quiet though? Like, I mean, I've seen videos of, Bombay and Madras or whatever Joel called it, and all that good stuff. It doesn't seem like a very quiet town.
No.
Yeah. Whatever you do, don't get the street food either. It will actually kill you.
Yeah, no, I've never thought, hey, I want to go to India, let alone, hey, I want to go to India and try the street food. No, I'm good. I will eat the sanitized stuff that's, they serve here that's like white people approved. They'll be like, no, they'll eat this.
I just won't.
They won't eat that.
Yeah, that's a better idea. Just don't go. Just don't go.
I mean, you have told me directly, stay away from India. So if you're telling me, I'm just not going.
Oh, God. Mom, actually, Mom's there right now. She's been there for about a month.
Oh.
How many boat rides up the Ganges has she taken?
Too many. She's seen some shit.
Bodies has she dropped off the boat?
Has she seen? I don't know. Probably enough to, she's going to have to come back and get therapy. So we'll see what happens.
That's what they could do, with all the pyres and everything, burning. They could turn that into like a hell of a boat racing track. It's like slalom through the Viking funerals.
Oh, God. Well, I know India will never have the Olympics there because like to clean up that river would take decades to make it even remotely clean.
Yeah, like I would just love to see the bids if they ever get launched. Like, come to India. No, you cannot pay us enough. We're just going to go to Saudi Arabia. Yeah, human rights violations out the yin yang, but at least the water might be clean.
That's true. That's very true. And no income tax. So there's that.
Well, that's, I guess, a positive.
Yeah. That was a weird start to this episode.
Yeah, folks, if you're listening,
entertaining, though.
If you're like, why are they talking about India? Well, it's African American History Month here on the channel. Yeah, there you go. All right, so folks, we'll talk about Black History Month, Asian History Month, American History Month. We'll talk about every history month you can think of.
Taiwanese History X.
American History X is the last month of the year. So that's how we celebrate.
It's Christmas.
I thought it was October.
That's inventory time at Statler Toyota.
There you go. There you go.
Now let's get into the word of the day. Now, first off, folks, the word of the day is always brought to you by Shrubbles08, and the word of the day is snowflakes. Snowflake and the Seven Simps. Breakfasted snowflakes. The fifth snowflake. Fistful of snowflake. Snowflake horizon and live free or snowflake hard. I like that one.
I would say No Country for Old Snowflakes.
I was gonna go there.
They have taken over like Oregon, Washington, and Colorado, so there is country for old snowflakes.
Yeah, good old Portland, home of it.
No, that doesn't work. Snowflake flew over the cuckoo's nest, or one flew over the snowflake's nest. Oh, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
How about Brokeback Snowflake?
The movie's already woke. It's got two guys in it.
Yeah.
And a guy
That was woke before woke was woke.
That's true.
Even back then, folks, if you weren't around 20 years ago, they were still beating us up on the internet of what internet there was about how we were all homophobes for not liking or wanting to go watch Brokeback Mountain. And it's like that it didn't work back then. It doesn't work anymore.
Well, I have heard.
Man, I'm pretty homophobic. I still haven't seen it.
Well, no,
Yeah,
I heard from Variety they're going to remake that, but it's going to be Sydney Sweeney and Anna de Armas are going to be the remake of that. So
I'm looking forward to a remake of Brokeback Mountain. It's about time you remake something like that.
Yeah. So I know you guys are mad because it's a female swap, but I mean, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
All I'm saying is if you make a movie about two, I don't think they're cowboys, they're shepherds or whatever it is. But you make a movie about two. Yeah, Sherpas. You make a movie about two gay cowboys. Why do you call it Brokeback Mountain? That just seems like a terrible titling idea. You could have had many different options of something that wouldn't so easily have made it a punching bag.
Well, so one of them was getting their bag. Like one of their bags was getting punched.
I was thinking he was going to go for the lower hanging fruit of.
There was lower hanging fruit in the movie too, Kendo. It's like you watch something. It's weird.
I thought he was going for the lower hanging fruit about the broke back, but too easy. But I asked for the other one.
I asked AI why is it called Brokeback Mountain. It gets its name from the fictional Brokeback Mountain. But there you go.
Oh God! What are you using ChatGPT or DeepSeek? I know DeepSeek's the new hot one.
Never even
back
heard
to
of
India.
DeepSeek.
When I saw that, I was like, "Oh, DeepSeek? That must be an Indian thing made by some guy named Deep Sack or whatever they call themselves." But no, it turned out to be Chinese. I'm like,
Go figure.
They disguised it to be Indian so people would accept it.
I mean, that makes sense. That totally makes sense.
Well, what are we doing about Hot Tub Snowflake Machine?
Hot Tub Snowflake Machine. That's a good one.
Or Attack of the Killer Burrito Snowflake Edition.
Yeah, I was going to say, if it just takes snowflakes to turn the hot tub into a time machine, just about every hot tub in most of the country has got risks of sending people back to create their own versions of Lugal.
Oh, jeez. By the way, the unrated version of Hot Tub Time Machine is still on Max. So there's that.
Good. I'll watch it Saturday night.
You're gonna have to pregame pretty hard, so I guess
I'm planning on it.
I want video.
Yeah, please send us random videos of you getting like proceedingly more drunk. Like that's what I want.
Well, the other day I was thinking about this, like, because we were talking about our burrito idea and all these other things. I was like, it'd be fun. You know how like they do those like documentaries where it's like game day and like the Hard Knocks and shit like that, where they like follow the players around. I think it'd be great, like next year during like football season, just Nick comes over one weekend and we do a documentary like that of me preparing to watch the game as opposed to actually playing in the game.
I would love nothing more than to do that. That would be hilarious.
Be like, wake up at like 7:30 in the morning, be like, it's game day. Kickoff start at 10. I got to get the grill going. Stuff like that. And just like talking through the routine. Be like, yeah, I like to start the day off by starting the grill and having my coffee. Irish it up a little bit. You got to pregame the right way, and then we got to get the beer. I think that'd be fun. That'd be fun.
I would 100% do that. It would take probably me and Jeff would have to come over and stay with you for at least a couple of days and really hammer this out. It would be kind of an inconvenience for you, but I think you could take it.
Yeah. So I think that'd be fun. And then we could get Dion in on it too. So like he could do Hard Knocks, me and him. So like it'd be like a running documentary of like both of us preparing for our respective football games that we will be watching and not in any way participating in. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, no, we
A
can
film
definitely do that.
mockumentary.
We can definitely do that. Yeah, that's because I mean I got the mics and the cameras and everything. It wouldn't take long at all. Wouldn't take long at all.
Who are we gonna get to do special effects, Weta or ILM?
We'll toss in a bid and see who bites. That's
Yeah,
what
I
we'll do.
think Sony ImageWorks might come back out of retirement just for us.
That would be nice. That'd be nice.
We should, if we would have jumped on this sooner, you guys could have probably got a loan from USAID.
Yeah.
Be like, we're a minority film crew wanting to make a documentary.
So we'll talk
Oh my
about
God.
U.S. aid in just a minute. Let's pop that up on screen. But let's check in with the audience because we have some messages that came in before the show starts, like from Sejorjan, who's been a member for 23 months. Thank you, Sejorjan. Seeing there's a panel that has the expertise, I don't get the Terrifier controversy. I thought horror, to a certain extent, wasn't woke, along with porn, given they intermingle with each other. Wow, just the way you describe that. But horror got breached by wokies? Now, let's give a little context for those out there who are wondering about Sejorjan's comment. So, Terrifier is this new movie series, fairly new, that is tearing up the world of horror because it's about a clown that chops people up. We've had killer clowns from both outer space and other dimensions. We've had people dress up and commit murders as clowns. But now we have Art the Clown. And apparently he's everybody's cup of tea. But the actor is highly political because he has caused a backlash online after releasing a statement about Donald Trump. And, you know, every actor, every celebrity, every famous person's got to get their say in because it's like, I saw a really great video about it, guys. And I don't remember the exact phrasing, but it's like boutique ethics, essentially. Because you know how we have like boutique action figures in video games?
Yep.
Basically, boutique ethics are things that only certain people can afford to espouse because it doesn't really affect their lives if they, you know, go off the deep end and say a bunch of shit. Like this actor who plays Art the Clown. It doesn't really matter if an actor goes that route and gets deep into this quote-unquote wokeness because, well, they have a safety net of money and other things to worry about. And real people don't care about those things because we have homes and taxes and responsibilities. So I found that video to be very enlightening, but it really bounces off of this subject matter of, you know, horror and entertainment in general. Like, look, horror fans have the least amount of money of a demographic, so trying to get them to espouse these type of views is really weird, and I don't know, it's stupid. Like Michael Jordan says, Republicans buy Nikes as well.
Oh yeah, 100%. And like as we've experienced, Jeff, with horror fans and going to these conventions, like they already lean a certain way already. We know that. We know they do. And then to kind of for this guy to do that and then like actually put more gasoline on the fire, just I think kind of like nixed his brand a little bit. And that's not a good thing because you're an indie filmmaker, an indie, you know, franchise that's doing really good, and you kind of want to piss off your fan base or at least half of it. Like that's not good money. I mean, well, he could have just said, I don't want to talk politics and just been okay with that. I mean, I'm sure some people would have prodded and poked and things like that, but at least like, you know, he would have been fine. So I don't know. It's weird.
Well, the director has now released a statement and said, I'm all for freedom of speech and expression. That being said, Terrifier is not in any way, shape, or form a political franchise. So Art the Clown, stop, whatever. But he says, I did not go into filmmaking to become a politician or promote any political agendas or ideologies, especially through a killer clown movie. I fell in love with horror movies as a form of pure entertainment, and those are the films I like to make. Now, Nick, one thing I do want to jump into, since Sejorjan makes an excellent point, is, you know, horror a lot of times will get lumped in with progressive ideas because sometimes they'll try to act like, well, the female lead survivor is so progressive. And every horror documentary has that like 5-minute segment where they like to pat themselves on the back and act like, oh, Jamie Lee Curtis saved the world. Look, I understand that you think that Night of the Living Dead is nothing but a commentary on black-white race relations, or you think that all of these horror movies are just the layers. And, you know, if you want to read into it, more power to you. But at the end of the day, to quote my old friend Dion, who is still a part of the show, folks, he's not dead, trust me. At the end of the day, though, horror is not the stomping ground for. Well, I think horror is a stomping ground for both sides of the argument, because you can argue conservatism with Jason Voorhees versus, the liberal views of the camp counselors. You can take that route if you want. That's in there. That's in the discourse for horror. But I don't think it's smart to make enemies of either side of the spectrum. And yes, they're walking it back now.
Yeah, it's kind of what I took from those comments too. It's like the clown went out and made a clown of himself and decided he had to go super political, which I saw a thing the other day, not to get political, but it was talking about how one of the political parties that recently lost just hasn't learned anything over the last few years because they're still plotting out the same tactics. Mm-hmm. They have elected new chair people, which is somebody that was already the vice chair, and their vice chair is just some crazy idiot kid that has said a lot of stupid things on the internet and may or may not be a cuck. Be that as it may. But the same things, like their whole railing against the bad orange man, has been just the same old tired and trod tactics. Same thing with Hollywood. It's like for the last almost 8 years at this point that it really ramped up. It was about like, we got to go super political. We already kind of knew their political leanings to begin with because of some of the higher profile ones and who they were hanging out with during, campaign season. But 8-9 years ago, they broke. Their psyche was broken by a very bad, very horrible, mean, bad, very, very orange, very bad man. And they, like everybody else, has ramped it up to where like the polls have gone even further to the opposite of everybody being like hyper politicized. But the thing that Hollywood doesn't realize is it doesn't work on most of America, because I don't really care who the actor, like Tom Cruise could come out tomorrow, and we know my thoughts on Tom Cruise, and he could just be screaming to high heavens about whatever crazy. Oh, he already does that. Scientology. And you know what? It doesn't affect me whatsoever. It's like I don't care. He can scream about and believe in whatever he wants to. At the end of the day, most of my favorite movies involve Tom Cruise in some way, shape, and or form. And even the ones that he made that I don't really particularly care for, with the exception of Eyes Wide Shut, I don't hate, and I'm not going to go out of my way to shit on. But at the same time, it's like they haven't figured out that we just don't fucking care what they have to say. If anything, it'd be real easy to say, I'm not going to go pay money to watch it in theaters. I'll wait till it goes on streaming, because then technically he's only maybe getting 2 cents as opposed to 10. So
yeah,
that's part. I don't know. I just feel like a certain half of the aisle just isn't learning anything over the last 10 years of history, and realizing that once 2020 happened and they were singing to us, telling us about how great everything was going to be from their own comfy mansions with their own grocery delivery and everything like that, that everything was going to be okay, singing that song by famed woman respecter John Lennon, and he was a commie, that we don't need them. They need us. They need us.
100%.
But we don't need them. I miss the days of yore where they were paid like street paupers and buried in paupers' graves when they died, because the acting profession was seen as unskilled. And I kind of want to go back to that.
Well, with the AI coming up, it's getting more and more unskilled. Actually, I've been reading this book. The black guy dies first, and you see, I'm about halfway through it. There you go, about halfway through it.
Just making sure you're reading, Nick.
I bet he hasn't actually read it. He just where's a good place to put the bookmark to make it look like I'm not just screaming about how the print's really small and there's no pictures.
Let's see. Okay, here we go. To prove I've read it, I've been highlighting it. Jeff, can I? Yeah, there you go. See, I've been highlighting.
Oh, dude, I've done the same thing in my college books. I just go through and randomly highlight shit and act like, oh yeah. This...
Go fuck yourself, Kendo.
Why did you highlight the bibliography, Kendo? I thought it was pretty obvious you wrote the book.
Well, I mean, I just wanted to shout out my favorite parts of the book and who wrote them.
No, but I picked this up because I was interested to read how what is their argument for these things, because big horror guy, and I wanted to know what is the big deal about this, and once again I got halfway through it and they keep mentioning 2 movies only, and it's it's terrible because they're just kind of like really nitpicking a lot of things, a whole lot of things. I'm just like, instead of complaining and putting money into the book, why not make your own horror movies? They're cheap and easy to make. You can find actors who you want to put in them.
Because it's even easier to bitch online.
Yeah.
You know, I may complain that Star Wars isn't great, but I don't just complain. I make a book to make fun of it.
Yeah.
These people have the ability to make those things, but they want to complain from their less than ivory towers.
It's easier to go on the internet and type in a 2-paragraph pissing and moaning fest than it is to actually do something creative, do some research, type out a script, find somebody that, you know, is a cinematographer, go through all the bullshit. It's easier just to sit there and complain. It's easier to cry and whine and go, oh, you know, it's so unfair. I have to be offended on behalf of other people. It's like, no, you don't. Shut up, get a life, and, you know, find hobbies. Do something. The other day I was on about something, and I was ranting to myself about how nobody's got any fucking pride in themselves anymore, and it's really sad.
Yeah, it's mediocrity is the new you know, the new achievement goal now. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's like as long as I've got my cell phone and I can buy chips at the store and I can just piss and moan and bitch about everything I don't like without actually having to lift a finger, but it's okay because for some reason my self-esteem has to be made to feel better by others because I'm such a precious little snowflake. There we go, back to your snowflake though. That everything is going to be okay. It's like, no, eventually you're going to get in the real world and there's going to be people that sink, which will be you, and then there are people that swim, which is us, because not everything's going to be handed to you once you get out in the real world. Most of at least now, back to reality after the last few years of unreality, most of the world does not care about your precious feelings.
No. What was it? There was one video, speaking of bitching, there was one video that came up in my Instagram about some 20-year-old complaining about that the speakeasy bars that are out in, you know, every city now aren't the real speakeasies, and I'm just like, he was like, oh, you know,
because prohibition's over.
Because alcohol isn't banned anymore.
Yeah, and he was like, oh, just because you have leather seats and a dark, very little lighting doesn't make you speakeasy. I'm like, motherfucker, why are you mad at people having fun?
Because this generation of people are so obsessed with authenticity that they don't actually realize the absurdity of their requests. Because I have to feel like I was there. No, you fucking don't. Because you can't go back to a time when certain things were illegal. You're not going to go back and break the law to have a drink there, Johnny boy. Like, these people are absolutely dumb.
I mean, you could make that a whole like theater experience for somebody and charge a lot of money for it. I'm sure they would pay it.
Dude, so you could do any of those. You could do like a racist theater where you just be like, hey, this is what it's like to experience it. And there's like 2 water fountains and everything, Nick.
What I was going to say is they want authenticity, but they pick and choose. They want authentic Prohibition 1929 era bars, but they don't want authentic 1848 Alabama.
No,
they want the fun parts of authenticity, but they don't want the real authenticity. On top of the fact that people complaining about that authenticity, even if it's like 1928, probably wouldn't do too well in that situation anyway, because either A, they wouldn't be able to get into the speakeasy because they wouldn't actually know anybody that would be able to vouch for them and say, this person ain't actually a cop, or they would get in there, they'd bump into somebody who might not be too, short, or might be a little shorter fused, might accuse them of being a cop, and since they can't prove it, they will be Tommy gunned in the back and nobody will give a shit. So I'm happy that I can go into any bar I want and it can be as dank or as nice as possible, and I do not have to worry about having to know any codes to drink any bathtub mint juleps that may be made out of chemicals that will cause me to go blind and or impotent and or dead.
There you go. Yeah. But it was just one of those things. I saw the video and I was like, why are you just mad at why are you mad at this particular thing? Because like
find out where that video was made and where that person came from. We will create a speakeasy with the leather chairs and all that bullshit, and we will serve them the worst possible swill that we can make in a fucking bathtub. Be like, you wanted it authentic? Here's authentic. You might not be able to see me after about 5 more seconds because you're about to go blind. You like that? You like that burnt flavor? Yeah, that's not smoke. That's not peat, buddy. That's turpentine that we heated up with a torch.
I wish that guy would watch this show or at least this clip and feel so stupid afterwards.
It was just
like,
it was one
He
of those things
won't.
I
That's
saw.
the thing
It
is
was
they
so
don't feel
like I don't know
stupid
why it just pissed me
afterwards.
off. I was so mad at it. I was like, people like these things. They like the aesthetic and they like going out and having fun. Like what the fuck is your problem? Who puts in your Cheerios? Like,
You know, I don't want to go. I don't want to go back to live the authentic times where I might wake up as a child and suddenly can't walk because I have polio.
yeah.
You know, I don't. You'd be like, hey, let's experience that. Let's take our children to a theater where they may get polio. Yeah, no thanks. I'm happy living in the modern era, even though most of it sucks because it's still better.
Well, that's why we're slowly working towards Briarville. it's our millennial retirement town where we're going to have.
Yeah, there's no such thing as the good old days because the good old days aren't exactly good for everybody. So let's be happy with 2020.
I feel like the 90s to early 2000s were good for everybody.
Okay, so those are the good old days that could actually technically work. But anything past that, it's like, do you really want to live in an era where you might get run off the road because you happen to look at somebody funny or your girlfriend may look different than you? I'd rather not have to go out in public with my wife and have to worry about people doing the ching chong eyes at her.
I forgot that shit actually does happen. Or did happen, excuse me. I just remember the good old days that everyone talks about of the 90s and early 2000s of being like, there's a lot of waiting in between things. Like, that's, if anybody wants to know what it was like, imagine
that's
you
true.
do cool stuff and then it ends because unlike the ever-connected internet world, if you didn't have cable, like, oh man, you're watching some good TV, and then infomercials hit, and you're like, well, I'm done watching TV.
Yeah, or you'd have to go to the TV Guide channel and wait for your channel to slowly like roll down and see what was next. You know, there was that.
All right, Backdoor Sluts 9 is on after American Gladiators. Sweet. Sign me up.
Oh god, and Skinamax was actually Skinamax.
Yeah. Okay, so let's check in with our audience because we have a couple of these now, folks. I'm going to read them out of order because Space Monkey, we're going to talk about your subject in a moment, and I want to give it the proper time it deserves. So, Space Monkey, thank you very much. TLJ Screwjob says, to quote Alexander Solheitson, so we know they're lying, we know they're lying, yet they still lie. Mainstream media, gaming media, Hollywood government, take your pick. Well, also, too, like Space Monkey 0899's comment about, did you see the info that USAID has funded Gamergate? We're going to talk about that in just a minute, because Gamergate was always interesting. I remember 11 years ago working my first con. It was the weekend I met you, Nick, and that was when Gamergate was blowing up. And I'm at the hotel getting ready that morning, and I got a YouTube video on talking about Gamergate, and I'm like, oh my god, why are more people not talking about this? Like, why aren't the people at IGN reporting on this? Why aren't this? Why aren't that? Well, we know the real reason why, because it was a bunch of lies and garbage.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
you know, it's. You know, TLJ Screwjob, they're always lying. Same thing with Space Monkey. I'm not surprised that somebody paid for Gamergate, because it all seemed like everybody got really riled up for nothing. Like, put it like this. Everyone got really riled up and defensive, and they turned it into something that it wasn't. When people are just like, from my point of view, it was about the ethics in journalism. And then they're like, oh, this person's getting harassed and that person's getting harassed. And it's like, you're trying to throw that in here to disrupt from this, because I'm a firm believer that all video games today aren't really made for you, the people. They're made for the critics, because people look at those critic scores and they do care. They still care about that crap. And so, you know, Metacritic, it's got an 80. Well, they're getting bonuses and this and that. And then all these people that are on the same wavelength as these journalists, well, they write the articles about this stuff and praise those parts of the game. And thankfully, the internet has come along where we make fun of all that, like the Suicide Squad, or was it Dragon Age Veilguard, whatever it is. Like those games that people are getting uppity about. Like, Nick, there was one where it basically gives you a talking to about diversity. I heard the clip the other day myself, and I went, I get why people are pissed. Like, I understand why people are actively angry at this shit.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's like, we never cared about this before, but when you put it in every piece of entertainment we have, it's just like, we don't like it. Like, just don't fucking do it. It's that simple. You know, it just, nobody wants to be preached to when they want to be entertained. Like, that's the last thing I want to do. You know?
No, I want to sit down and watch a movie like we both did this past week. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I want to go and I want to be entertained. The last thing I want is for a video game that's going to cost up to $100 to give me a talking to. I don't want anybody to give me a goddamn talking to. I don't want to go into a movie theater and get a talking to. I don't want to go anywhere and be like told this or that. And so I don't want it in my games, especially in something that I pay, good money for.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons why I'm so picky about the games that I purchase and actually play. I want stuff that I don't have to worry about that. Nintendo is a safe bet because pretty much the main Nintendo games, you're not going to find any of that shit in there. There's no woke Pokemon crap. I mean, they tried to come after it about Mr. Mime and stuff like that, and it's like, or not Mr. Mime, Jinx, and it's like, it's not going to work. They try it, it just doesn't work. But I don't know, the Gamergate stuff, it just seemed like way too coordinated for gamers. That's the part. It's like, like I get that we can coordinate and set up like raids and other things and video game sessions and everything like that. But like a full court press of like media and this and that and the other thing, it's like, nah, that's like there's way too many moving parts for people that like, just to play video games and talk about video games to be able to get going on. So that's why I was just like, But I will say this, you hit it on the head where you're like, we don't need to have all that crap in our games. There was a game that all three of us loved playing, in which the protagonist was a Hispanic dude in a faux Hispanic country with all these cool gadgets and technology taking down dictators that were totally not Castro or Che Guevara. And that was fun as shit. And never once did I think, yeah, dude, I'm like some, Guatemalan dude doing this shit. I was just like, this game is fun. I love blowing this shit up. I like watching the map change color to show it's a free area, and I love stealing these jets.
Oh yeah, that fucking game.
Yeah, Just Cause. Just Cause 2. Yes. Clone
God.
She's like, hey, is that Just Cause? Yes, it was. It was Just Cause. The amount of hours the three of us spent in that game, either having fun with it or turning it into a giant dick measuring contest between who could glide the furthest, who could do this and this and then, specifically just to piss each other off about breaking each other's records. It was great.
So much fun. I actually broke out the PS4 and been playing that a lot lately. I've been playing Cyberpunk and then Red Dead 2 a lot lately. So
I need to get back into Red Dead 2. I bought that game when it first came out. I did a stream when the game was hot, and then I just stopped playing it because there's so much to do, which is rare for me because I love my open world games.
That's what I'm doing in Cyberpunk right now. I'm going through that and like doing every single mission, trying to upgrade myself as high as I can, and just like trying to like kill everybody. Like, it's been fun. I've really enjoyed it. So I'm gonna do that with Red Dead as well. I'm gonna try to go through and do all the small missions, and really explore the area because I missed that.
There's a lot. I ran into the same problem, Jeff, that I didn't buy it right when it came out. I got it like 6 months later when I had more free time. And then I poured all of my free time into that game and got like 3/4 of the way through it. But I had mostly just done story and I hadn't done a whole lot of side stuff. And then I just stopped because it's like there's just so much shit to do. I don't even know where I want to start the game and what I want to do for the next 6 hours. And I just stopped. And it just stayed like that for like 3 or 4 years. And then I went and I picked it back up again maybe earlier at the beginning of last year or something like that. And same thing. Started again. I'm like, here's how I'm going to do this. And I got about 3/4 of the way through it, did a lot of the side shit and everything too. And then it just got to the point where I'm like, I really don't feel like sitting down tonight and spending 3 hours doing all of this just to get this one thing accomplished. I think I'm just going to take a break. And that was like 10 months ago. So it's on the old Xbox. I think what I'm going to do, my resolve for that is going to be, I'm going to make sure it's all completely updated. And then I'm just going to take it with me to Camp Kendo when I go home for the summer. And then I will just do it there. Be like, look, I'm just going to play Red Dead for the next 8 hours and
no, you're not.
Enjoy the peace and quiet of the house. Cabin. That's only for part of the trip. I'm going to be home for like 6 weeks.
I mean, who says you might not get stabbed at the cabin and stay for 6 weeks in a hospital somewhere?
I'll bring my Switch.
All right. Let me read some more of these, and then we'll start talking about the article on screen since we have quite a few super chats about that. Shrubbles08 getting some kendo points. Let's go, Chiefs! Yeah, I'll take a garbage day, please. Kendo?
Yeah.
I know you're ready for Sunday.
I am ready for Sunday. I've been checking the line every day to see if it's moved, see what the bet spreads are looking like, to see if there's any potential indicator about what the smart money is on and who the sharps are betting on, because I know before the AFC Championship game, the Bills were getting most of the spread bets, and then suddenly at the last minute, like a huge number of like I guess pros came in on it and it moved that line. I'm like, oh, dude, Chiefs are gonna win because I sent Dion. I'm like, dude, the bet line just moved like this, the layout, the percentage layout, and he's like, holy shit, the Chiefs are gonna win. So I'm feeling confident because the we'll talk about it when we get to our predictions, but yeah, go Chiefs.
Thank you, though, to Shrubbles08 for that one. Enrique Vasquez says, no offense, but I watch Amazing Race, but India. There's nothing wrong with watching Amazing Race India. I like The Amazing Race. I used to watch the shit out of The Amazing Race back in 2004. Enrique also says, looks not appealing and most likely won't go there. Like I said, I've heard nothing but horror stories, Enrique, from people who are from India, have family from India, or have been to India themselves. And that is why I have formed the opinion of, I'm just going to look at pictures. The Taj Mahal doesn't need Jeff.
Yeah, just don't do it.
John Thomas, thank you for both of these generous super chats, John. He says, sorry to ruin tonight's show, but Jeff, have you seen the trailer for the new Ninja Turtles cartoon? Why? Who looked at that animation and thought, this is animation? It looks awesome. What the hell happened? Are you talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the next chapter? Is that what you're talking about? Because I typed in 2025, and that's all I could get. But I don't... If it's the next chapter, I'm not really feeling it. It looks kind of weird. Oh, no, that's not it. Shit. Well, can you send me a link to it? Because this looks like it's from the cartoon, and I wasn't feeling the cartoon. Ninja Turtles is like a multi-generational franchise at this point, John, where you'll have classic fans like Kendo, you'll have the newer fans that'll watch this show, and then you'll have the fans like me who were definitely around back in the day, definitely had Turtles toys, and we'll still buy Turtles video games. But like, I haven't seen a Turtles movie in theater since the second Michael Bay one, so I'm really late to the party.
Oh, by the way, according to Polymarket, which is like a crypto betting site, they have the Chiefs winning as of right now. So
yeah, and you know what? And I'll get back to it when we get to our predictions, but I know exactly what I want to see happen on Sunday, and it's specifically geared towards, and we talked about it actually, I think Dion and I talked about it last week, just causing grown men to cry about what happens on a football field and now off the field. So, yeah, we'll get to it. Yeah, I'm feeling confident. I have no reason not to be confident. They've pulled it out of their asses every time they've had to, and yeah, I feel like it's going to be okay. But, you know, win or lose, the last few years of the Chiefs, being a Chiefs fan, have been more than enough to make up for the 30 years of being a Chiefs fan where nothing good happened. So I'm good.
It's better than be a Cowboys fan.
Yeah. John, though, if that's the right cartoon, let me know. I think the toys are out currently, but if I'm not right, let me know as well. John also says, where's the tab? Oh my God, I forgot the edited Crocodile Dundee for the modern audience. Cue Critical Drinker voice with the echo. I have not seen the modern audiences videos, but what do you edit from Crocodile Dundee? Like, at what point is Crocodile Dundee offensive? Excuse me.
Who the fuck knows? They'll find something. They'll find something and nitpick the shit out of it and be like, "Oh, this is offensive." It's like, there's one joke that is mildly offensive. Calm down.
They're probably just upset about the lady's butt in the bikini.
Probably, yeah. They hate nice butts.
Yeah, why?
I don't know.
It's the age of the butt.
It's female rights or something. I don't fucking know. It's, yeah.
So let's talk about what's on screen here. So according to information from that Park Place, Politico took $8 million in taxpayer money while attacking Gamergate. So that's the thing I wanted to talk about, because we're not getting political. We're not going to go into everything that USAID is a part of. I'm going to look into it to see where it crosses with entertainment, and we'll talk about it. But according to this article, the funding bombshell was highlighted by ex-users who pointed out that Politico has published multiple articles related to Gamergate, consistently framing it as disinformation and harassment while pushing narratives about diversity in gaming. A search for Gamergate on Politico returns 22 different articles. The revelation raises serious questions about whether taxpayer money was used to promote political agendas within gaming journalism. The fact that we're actually having this conversation is bizarre to me. That, we got to do a little more research, but somebody's paying for that kind of crap in the gaming industry. But the gaming industry is not making any money from that because all of these games, like Concord, die on the vine. Like, hey, let's pump in all this money to a service as games, live service as a game, make it weird, make it crappy. It's like, make it two of the three things, but you can't put that modern day audience spin on it because that'll always kill it. But, this is
real quick, you said somebody paid. No, if it was paid from USAID, we paid for it. The taxpayer paid for it because that's where the money came from. So, yeah, we're the somebody that paid for it. We our tax money was taken to pay for this stuff.
How does that make you feel, Kendo?
Not real happy because I already hate the idea of having to pay taxes anyway, unless it's for something I'm okay with. And most federal taxes I'm not okay with paying with. If they're like, we're only going to tax you 1%, but it all goes to the military, I could live with that maybe, depending on what we're buying and building. If it's because we're going to build cool shit to blow people up with if we ever need to, sold. If it's we want to pay, for the Instagrams of the military people that may look and dress like they are of an opposite persuasion and dance around on TikTok. No, I feel like that gives a bad image to the rest of the world when they look at our military doing stuff like that, because guess where that's not accepted most of the rest of the world. So I don't want us to look weak, because one of the best things about our military is its strength is intimidating. Yeah. But that's where I would draw the line with wanting to pay for taxes. I don't want to pay taxes for most things, let alone to help fund Gamergate, or anti-Gamergate, or to fund games that are bullshit that we don't. Man, somebody goes to Big Bang Toy Store a lot.
Yeah, right.
I know the feeling, but yeah, it's just I don't like the idea of us spending tax money on dumb shit like that. And as much as people are upset about it, I like the idea of doing an audit on all the shit that the U.S. taxpayers fucking putting money out for and finding out where it's going and cutting out all the bullshit. Because you know what that will do at the end of the day? Save us on taxes, because the reason why taxes go up is because they have to pay for all this dumb shit.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting with everything I found, because I keep hearing about it. And them spending like $1,200 per paper coffee cup for like whatever. I think it was USAID as well. And so much for K cups for a company that like where everybody is working from home. Like I've heard all kinds of crazy things. So it's weird, and I'm glad they're finding it out. And I hope they they really do turn off the faucet of free money for all these things.
Well, they
right,
have.
and
Doge has cut this off.
Yeah, Doge is cutting it off. Doge is taking, and I the other day I was reading an article. So back to the defense spending, that the Department of Defense spent like $600 million of their budget on sushi last year or something like that. Like,
I heard about that too.
Like, Jesus Christ! I thought all they did was sit around eating MREs and shit. But okay, I mean, who's buying the sushi? Where's the sushi being served? It definitely is not going out to the guys in the field, because the fish will go bad at a certain point, and whatever. But I'm just like, that's an awful lot of. I mean, I like sushi as much as the next guy, but I ain't spending that much of my budget on this shit. But then again, I'm also willing to go down the street and buy a $10 banh mi from the only Vietnamese place around here that sells them, because they are pretty fucking good. But yeah, it's just I'm 100% on board with Big Boar Go Home. We have a right to know what our money is being spent on. I get that on a national level, we cannot vote on every tax proposal. This is not like a local thing where it's like, do you want to vote for a 0.5% tax increase to help put a new annex on the high school or something like that, where where it's going. But it's still, we deserve to see the receipts.
Yeah, 100%. And it's happening, and and anybody who complains about it, I think that needs to go get checked.
Anybody that complains about it is either A, stupid, or B, their hand is in, their fingers in that pie, and they don't want that pie being taken away from them.
No, nobody ever wants to have their fingers taken out of a pie, Kendo, because it's easy work. It's easy to not change. Everyone, it's like that mayor last week. Remember the nut bar we talked about? She's not going to change. She'll keep her fingers. Well, she'll keep her pie very. Never mind. We're not going to make that analogy anymore. The finger in the pie joke is dead.
Let's not talk about the super corrupt super mayor that's got a dump truck ass. Anyway,
it is a dumper. Holy shit.
Yeah, she wears those fucking tight ass pants when she's walking around handing out free shit. I'm like, oh my god, I can see why she got. I was like, I know why the dudes voted for her. I don't know why they would vote for her now, but then again, I also understand men, so never mind. I can see how they could still vote for her now.
If like Cincinnati had like a sexy lady mayor, I could see her getting away with a lot of stuff.
Well, I mean, you guys are getting the Indian guy right now, so
not a sexy lady mayor.
No, are you talking about Vivek? He's going to try to be governor.
Oh, governor. Sorry, governor.
Yeah, because what is it? DeWine is the governor of Ohio, and I think that he is term limited coming up. Yeah. So I think that was one of the deals that they cut with old Vivek was like, hey, if you drop out of the race or if you stay in the race and you essentially just run as the wingman, just car crashing into every other candidate to help pave the way for Trump really, really easy, and he wins, we're not going to give you any really good, important, national office because that would just be crazy. We'll make sure that you become the next governor of Ohio.
Well, I mean, they already made one Indian guy, head of the CIA. So I think it's as much as they can handle.
That guy's picture cracks me up. Yeah, he's going to be running the FBI. I love that picture.
The FBI, the FBI.
I love Kash Patel's picture. It is equal parts intense and cross-eyed. It's just like amazing. I'm like, yes, this is the guy I want running the FBI because he looks like he's about ready to bust somebody up, but he also looks goofy enough that you can't take him 100% seriously. But I'm like, anybody that looks that fucking intense in their photo, I'm like, yeah, I'm on board with that guy because he's either got a screw loose in the right way or he's just going to fucking come in and just start kicking the shit out of a lot of bureaucrats.
Well, if he's first generation, then he's fine. He's fine. Then he'll do a good job. He'll be all right.
Yeah. So
it's okay.
I like that one. I was pretty good. We upgraded our attorney general. It's no longer an old dude. It's a cougar. So not sure what her political leaning is. I'm not sure what she's doing, but she's going to be a whole lot nicer to look at. Just like, we upgraded at the first lady department. I don't think Melania will come out and tell a bunch of Mexicans that, they remind her of tacos and that si se puede, completely mispronouncing Spanish. And our second lady is a huge upgrade over our first gentleman. She's, as I told Nick, the Vindaloo Vixen. I'm 100% on board with her.
I love that so much.
So there you go. Folks, you wanted us to get political. We're getting political about things, but in like the most superficial, worst way.
Yeah, we're just dipping our toe in it. That's all we're doing.
Yeah, we're doing it in the most superficial way possible. We're just talking about how our attorney general is kind of a smoking hot blonde that probably would hold you down and just kick your ass while she was, giving you the business. And that, the Vindaloo Vixen is way more attractive than even Kamala Harris's husband.
Even the woman doing the press briefings, like, she's hot too.
Yeah, she's definitely an upgrade over the last
future? People will be mildly qualified but really attractive.
I mean, it depends on what side. It depends on what side they come from. If they come from the right, it's usually that way. If they come from the left, you get it a little bit different.
You get the weirdos.
Yeah,
well, you get weirdos from everywhere, but
hey, no lie.
Yeah, but I mean, usually from the left is where you get the uggos,
Oh, come on! I've seen lots of videos of women protesting for. Wait, never mind. You're right. Didn't Jeff make a whole comic book about that? I think he did.
Yeah,
I think so.
In production. Now, anything else you guys want to say about the Politico Gamergate? It's like we have talked for years on this channel, maybe for 4 years now, about the pendulum swinging back. And
it's swinging.
Man, the pendulum is swinging.
That son of a bitch is going back the other direction. It's got some fucking momentum.
Yeah, I'm just like, and it's going really, as you said, it has momentum, but I just don't want it to get too far right. That's my worry. It's like that's my only caveat. It's like I don't want it to go really like that far. Like we'll see if it can like slow down a little bit. And
there's a limit for you.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a limit. Because any extreme is bad. Any extreme is bad.
Oh, of course. Let me say that. Everybody's been saying it the whole time.
Yeah, so I mean, like, if I don't want it to get like, I don't want it to get too far right. Stay in the middle, a little bit more, please.
Yeah, take us back to 1999 politically.
There you go. That's all. That's
no
all
one
I want.
will ever bitch.
Yeah,
because everybody was cool with everybody, and then 9/11 happened, and then it just fell apart.
Yep. Yeah, if they could get rid of the TSA, that'd be really nice. That'd be really, really nice.
Hey, Elon Musk and Doge, could you actually just do an audit of the TSA to see how valuable they are? But Jeff, what about American jobs? Those jobs are gonna be okay. Like, we can get them hooked up anywhere else.
Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, we need to, like, 86 at the TSA. I'm sorry, we really do. All right, like, did you see the action movie about the TSA agent now?
Carry On? Fuck. Yeah, I liked that movie.
No, I did too, and I love that actor. But I hope we get 2 more parts. I really do, because we need that to be a thing.
How do we get more parts? They got the bad guy. He didn't just die. He melted. He melted in an airplane, dude.
It's the same thing with Speed. We didn't even know the Speed. We got Speed 2 cruise control. So
and that's not a good thing, Nick.
I know it's not a good thing, but it can happen.
This time it's on a boat.
That's it. He can work security for, like, I don't know, like a boat or something. And then
he's a cop now. He's got to go on He's got to become the new John McClane. Wrong guy, wrong place.
Which like, once again, I like that dude. He's a good actor. He did, he was in Kingsman. He did a really good job. But no, if he becomes the new John McClane, I won't be mad at that. In all honesty, I think that'll be cool. But yeah, if we just carry on through cruise control, like, I think that'll be hilarious.
Carry On to, sir, you're gonna have to Carry On 2 checked luggage. That's what it's called, and then we'll do Carry On 3.
The carrying.
The carrying. Lost in the carousel.
There you go. Lost in the carousel. That's a good one.
And then the last one will be them stranded out in the desert, and it'll be Carry On 4, Carry On.
I get that reference. Folks, if you want to watch Carry On 5, The Quest for Carry On 4, there you go. Carry On 3, Overhead Bin.
Carry On 5, The Quest for Luggage.
The Quest for Luggage. The Quest for where the fuck is my luggage?
Her Royal Highness's matched set.
There you go.
The 6th one.
Yeah, that's all I want is, like, maybe because, I mean, Jason Statham being, like, a normal guy in all those movies, like, just, have the Carry On series keep going. It's fine. I think we need it. I mean, it's okay.
That new Working Man trailer with Jason Statham looks legit.
I think comes out in March. Yeah.
Like Aaron Sparrow was saying the other week, every movie Jason Statham comes out in now, the title is just a descriptor for what he is. The Beekeeper, a hardworking man. He gave another example, too. And then I was like, yeah, Ambulance is the most basic movie title ever.
Well, he wasn't in Ambulance. He wasn't in Ambulance.
No, I'm just saying the simple titles.
Oh, simple titles. Okay.
Because we're getting to a point where we're devolving to simple titles and basic descriptors.
Which is fine. I mean, we had that in the 90s with, once again, Speed, Bad Boys,
Volcano,
Titanic. Yeah, a bunch of stuff. I mean, it's fine. I mean, what was it? Commando, like, things like that. We had that stuff. Rambo.
But then there were movies like To Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar, and Romy Michelle's High School Reunion, where you're like, what do these titles mean?
Yeah, I mean, well, that's when you had the rise of, like, the dumb and raunchy comedy coming out, and that was also a good thing where you had that, becoming a thing where kids who grew up in the in the 80s and a little bit in the 90s, were getting to be adults and getting into Hollywood and, like, oh, let's make some fun, let's make some more fun shit. And they watched, like, Dazed and Confused and wanted to bring it into the 90s and the 2000s, and they did with a lot of their stuff. So
they needed to just remake Porky's, but
Well, as somebody that did actually once watch Romy and Michelle's High School Reunion, Jeff, it's about 2 characters, Romy and Michelle, and they go to their high school reunion.
I've seen it way more times than I'm willing to admit.
Oh, I've only seen it the once.
They fake inventing Post-it notes.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and then the guy
is
buys
Alan
them
Cummings,
a fucking department store at the end of the movie, and they fly off in his helicopter.
I've heard that they're gonna do a part 2 where it's like Romy and Michelle's like 20th high school reunion or some shit like that or whatever. So 20 years.
You realize it's like 40 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. They want to do a part 2 because that's what Hollywood is now. There's just a bunch of legacy sequels and shit. So that's all we're getting.
They
now.
wanted to do the 20-year reunion. They should have done that 20 years ago.
I agree, but it's Hollywood. They're like, oh, we'll make it seem like it's whatever. It'll be fine. Nobody will know. It's like, why put the money into it? Why?
Yeah,
at least American Pie had the wherewithal to realize that their reunion wasn't actually 10 years from the American Pie movie, so they called it the 11th year reunion. So it's because they're like, yeah, it's more than 10 years, and we have fans that have watched these movies enough that they will kick our ass in the comments section if we call it a 10-year reunion, even though it's taking place 11 years after, they graduated.
Oh, you mean like the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania is not the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania?
Right, because you don't have an anniversary for the first one.
Oh well, that's the way it goes.
That's also just Vince and his way of doing things, thinking that the fans are stupid. And to be fair, wrestling fans can be pretty stupid. So
yeah, wrestling fans and horror fans are like kind of the same.
So I'll give him a little bit of credit on that one. He wrestling fans are kind of not bright enough to be like, yeah, that's bullshit. This is not the 42nd anniversary of WrestleMania. It's the 41st anniversary. No, they're not.
John Thomas says, Jeff, cut out the CD in the bar scene in Crocodile Dundee. I looked up the TMNT and tagged you. I was looking at that trailer when the guys were talking a minute ago. I saw you tagged me on Twitter, or now X, excuse me. Not feeling it. I'm in the weird camp where I think the best looking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon is the 03 show, but I like the 87 theme song. So
of
that's
course.
where my TMNT lies.
Yeah, I am a huge fan of the original 87 everything. I can appreciate the 03 one. I've never been unhappy watching it. And the one from, I think it's like 2012, that one's not too bad either. Every once in a while those will pop up on the YouTube for the kids, and the kid will watch it and things like that. So that one's not bad. I've played the arcade version of that. That's actually quite a bit of fun. So I don't dislike. I hate everything that's come after that.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's not good.
At least for Ninja Turtles, they sell a full video game and don't charge you $35 for it. Like Power Rangers, you get like a third of a video game for $35.
Yeah, that's dumb. But I mean, it's not going to be any better because they keep upping the price all the time. Being like, oh, we need more money for for staff and things like that. Well, make better games, and we'll gladly buy them.
Yeah, the 90s had the best theme songs. Power Rangers and X-Men, both created by one guy. So,
yep.
Ron Wasserman. Folks in the chat, Press 1 for this debate. 1 for the Ninja Turtles theme, 2 for the Power Rangers theme. What was better? I'm torn because I prefer Power Rangers. Should we
make an X poll?
Yeah, go ahead, Nick. Make that Power Rangers versus Ninja Turtles theme song.
All right, let's do that.
Oh, it's already starting a battle. Oh, it's tied. Nope, not anymore. One's overtaking it.
There we go.
Even names that normally aren't popping up, like our friend Frankie's like, one, Ninja Turtles. All right, Frankie, we got it. Oh, yeah, wow, okay. Now we got this is a passionate debate, folks. Nobody gives a crap about Disney Plus losing 700,000 subscribers or any of that other crap. No. We want to get, answer 3, X-Men. I think X-Men's the best cartoon theme of all time. Best television show theme of all time. Like, X-Men, Dexter, Miami Vice, those are all quality pieces of television music. And I'll stand by X-Men as being the best. But Nick, we were talking about low quality entertainment as being why people are checking out or tuning out, and Disney has lost 700,000 subscribers. Now, of course, they're taking the blame and putting it mostly on the price increase, but I do think that crappy content and a price increase are likely to make people leave quicker than just good content with a price increase.
Okay, so we're doing the best theme song between Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and X-Men? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles.
Oh, Ninja Turtles. Okay. All right.
Hunter says, I don't like Power Rangers, but it had the better theme song. I mean, that guitar is awesome. Especially when it hits that note and the drums go, and you're ready. You're like, oh my God, I know what time it is. It's Morphin time. So, Yes, folks, that is the song of my childhood. And one day, when I make Christmas 93 the comic book, it'll be the comic book of my childhood. Well, the 90s childhood comic book.
There you go.
Batman the Animated Series has a great theme song. It's also kind of derivative of the Danny Elfman theme from the movie, so I always put that in a separate category since it's not really an original piece of music.
All right, the poll is up on our X account. If you want me to, it's our most recent post. Should I pin it to the account, Jeff?
Nah, people will find it.
Okay, all right.
Our poll is up, folks. Go to X.
The poll
is up.
Yeah, it is up there. So go vote.
You know, some of these theme songs become identified with the character more so than just as it being a piece of music. For example, the Superman theme, they're bringing that back in the James Gunn theme. It's at least in the trailer. The
Listen,
X-Men brought their theme back.
I hope that
his theme back.
I hope that James Gunn movie's good. The trailer looked good, but I hope it's good.
Yeah, I hope it really. I want it to be great. I don't subscribe to the Snyder cult. Those movies have good moments, but overall, I don't like those movies. But I'm willing to give this one a shot. It can't just be, oh my God, it's not Snyder, I'm leaving, because oh my God, I hated Snyder when we had him.
Yeah, because even with the 4-hour cut of that fucking movie that was supposed to be the director's cut, even though they had to reshoot stuff for it, it was terrible. And it was like, what is it, 4:3 and like 480p? Like it was
it was in 4K, but it was 4:3.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was so bad.
It wasn't even a full movie, too. It had like random parts that would just have to be explained with a title card.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was so bad.
And then there's the black and white edit that people bought.
Jeez, not good. But hey, they wanted that was Max's big launch was putting that out. Like, good for you guys.
Yeah, I'm all about listening to the fans. Believe me, folks, I'm a fan, but I'm also not about listening to Zack Snyder.
So you were going on about Disney losing 700,000 subscribers.
Yeah, and I just think it's because their content is garbage. Like, hey, we're going to sell you this new Spider-Man show. Okay. Oh, you're an adult. You're not supposed to watch it. It's for kids. Okay, then why are you making a $200 doll? Like, no kid's going to get a $200 doll as a gift. Oh, it's from the new show, Jeff. It's for kids. It's not. Look, it's for the kids like me that never really grow up. But we all grew up in an era where traditional versions of these heroes were relevant. And you can't show me anywhere that these modern interpretations outdo the original because they always go back to the original. Why do they always go back to the original? Because it sells. Why do we change it? We're not asking for it to change. And I personally am not going out and buying more of the original stuff when it comes back in vogue. Like, that gimmick used to work with comic books. It's like, oh, they changed Spider-Man's costume. I'm done. Oh, it's back to the red and blue. I'm buying the book again. Nowadays, it's like, oh, they changed his costume. Okay.
Yeah, don't care.
Oh, they brought it back. Okay.
Yeah, because we've been honey dick so much. It's just like, we don't want to give them our money anymore just because of that. We can't trust them anymore, so they've lost that is they've lost us as customers because we just don't trust them, and like they need to build that back, and they're not going to because they don't want to.
Yeah, and it's such a dumb way to do business. Because people have changed after the pandemic, and people just want predictability. They want familiarity. And, people are eating that shit up nowadays. They want to change the stuff that... It's funny. The stuff that needs to be changed, they won't change. The stuff that we're, like, wanting to stay the same, oh, it can't be the original anymore. And they give you some garbage like rights or other reasons. But it's just bad creative from bad people. Yeah, I said it.
No, it is. They hire the wrong people to make the stuff, and they wonder why it flops.
Yep. They say, hey, that favorite thing, the thing that you loved when you were little and all stuff? Well, here it is again, except for it's modernized, and there's a gay dude in it, and all this stuff is weird and different, but you still love it, right? And when you say no, then they insult you.
What are you, a homophobe?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah, it's stupid. I hate it.
Yep. And luckily, it feels like it's coming to an end. So I don't really know what else to say about Disney in terms of their losing 700,000 people in a quarter.
Well, I mean, like their stock is as high as it's been in a while. It's still kind of climbing. It's still going up. But also it's the beginning of the year, so like that always happens. Like it's always high at the beginning of the year, then as the year goes through, it'll like lower. But they never lose any money. Even the stuff even one of the videos I talked to, I heard about their parks and stuff. There's been no there's more people are not coming into the parks. It's just that the people who are already there going there all the time every year or twice a year are spending more money because Disney wants to nickel and dime them on everything. So that's all that's happening. That's where the money's coming from, is like the dedicated hardcore Disney adults who are going like, once or twice a year with no kids.
Their money still folds, man. So will the
Still
business
green.
chase only that money.
No, that's true. And like, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know. I the last time I went to Disney was probably like when I was like 13 or something, maybe. I don't know. But, yeah, it's just not my thing anymore. I mean, we had a fucking great time at Halloween Horror Nights in Universal, man. That was great. It was so much fun.
Dude, we're gonna be going around the world this year, folks. Be on the lookout. I will be at the Lexington Comic and Toy Show, March 6th through the 9th in Lexington, Kentucky. So be on the lookout for that. If you're a toy fan or if you're a comic fan, come see me and hang out at the booth.
I got my hotel for that, actually.
So do I. I'm ready to go. All I got to do is get a couple of things printed off, and I'll be ready to work that show. Wokebusters will be there because it's on its way to me now. Stealing Solo will be there. I'm not going to tell you how many copies are there.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm going to count it off now. I'm not going to count it off on air. It's not a lot. I threw that case out on the air for a reason. But we're going to have a lot of fun, folks. But we'll also be at the Goonies anniversary reunion in Astoria, Oregon this summer. And the guys and I will get together for the Stabbin' Cabin in July. And it'll be our first WCBS reunion in 4 years.
Yeah, there's a bunch of fun things to do in that area. We can go to Dollywood if you want to, or we can just go through every moonshine place and get samples until we can't say anymore.
I want to retain all bodily functions, but I can get smashed every day.
Yeah, because you can go from one end of Gatlinburg to the other with very little money and get really sloshed very quickly.
That's all I ever wanted.
Yeah.
My kind of town.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Disney is not my kind of town, and it's not the kind of image I want to look at. So off the screen, Disney, but I hate to say it, folks, we'll feed the beast because next week I'll be back with a Captain America review. Because
oh, man, I feel...
At least I'm not spending Valentine's Day watching that piece of shit.
Well, I mean, what is it? Q Kwand movie's coming out.
Dude, I want to see it. It's getting terrible reviews, though. It's getting slain.
Oh, man, that sucks. And there's even a slasher coming out called Heart Eyes that I want to check out. I hope it's good.
Yeah, I have seen that trailer a bunch, and I will go see that movie.
Yeah, so, yeah, I hope his movie's good.
Love Hurts. It's out tomorrow. It currently has a 5.4 on IMDb, a 6 out of 10 on Screen Rant, which equates to 19% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Ooh, baby.
Well, yeah. I mean, these are all critic reviews, and it's like I don't trust them anymore. So,
yeah, even when the critics are hard on something, usually it doesn't get hit that bad. Like that screams to me that audience score is going to be coming in pretty low too, because.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want it to because it does look like a lot of fun. So. But I will spend my hard-earned money and watch it for sure.
Yeah, I will go see this. It's kind of weird that Marshawn Lynch, the football player, is a big lead. He's like the 4th credited person in this film. But it's got 2 Goonies in it, and it's only $18 million. So hopefully they can make their money back.
Yeah, I think it was done by A24. I think they're the ones who. I think it's that studio. I could be wrong.
87 North Productions, distributed by Universal.
Okay, never mind then. it's their indie wing or whatever. That's all it is. Yeah, but that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, I just hope it's entertaining. If it's really bad, then I mean, we'll talk about it.
Now, Nick, while we're talking about films, let's talk about a movie we both saw over the weekend that we both really liked for reasons.
Oh
we
yeah.
haven't talked about
You
it.
told me. I think it was that Friday. You're like, yo, go. Go watch this. And I don't. As soon as you said it, I looked at it where I could get it. I was like, I bought my tickets. I'm like, done. I'm gonna go check it out.
See, folks, I had the opportunity to go see a movie completely blind. The trailer didn't spoil anything. I didn't read any of the leaks or any of that stuff. And now you might have seen a bunch of this, and I'm not going to tell you anything about this movie, but it's a little movie called Companion. I went in completely blind. I thought, oh, this is that movie where the girl's got blood on herself in the trailer. What is this going to be? And it was nothing like I expected it to be. And I'm really happy about that. Now, Nick, don't tell him anything. Don't tell him any of the twists.
Okay.
But would you recommend it? Did you have a good time watching it?
I did, because it's one of those things where, like, in the beginning, the way it's represented is hilarious, because if you don't know what's going on, you don't know what's going on. And then when you realize, why there is animosity towards the main actress, you're like, oh, okay. Kind of makes sense. And then it goes on and on and on, and things kind of, spiral. And it's just like you learn more and more about these people, and you're just like, holy shit. But it was really fun. It was original. The acting was great. You had Jack Quaid in it, who's doing a lot of stuff these days. So many things.
Too much.
Yeah, probably too much. I saw the trailer for his movie Novocaine coming out, and that looked fun too.
That does look good.
It does look good. But no, Companion was really good. Like, I was the way it's the way you see the logo of Companion with like the cursive and the pink and everything. I was like, what does this mean? But when you recommended it, I was like, I'm just gonna go fucking watch it. I'm not gonna read anything. I'm just gonna go watch it. And I'm glad I did, because it was so much fun. It really was.
Yeah, last Friday I had to run some errands, and I was like, hey, Dan, do you want to go run errands with me? And he's like, yeah, sure. And then all of a sudden his mom texts us. She's like, hey, I want to take you guys out to lunch. I'm like, well, thanks. So we stopped off at this random ramen place to eat. And Dan was like, hey, there's a theater right here. Let's see what's showing. And that's all we knew was Companion shows at 2:00. Let's go watch this movie called Companion. So, folks, if you can go in completely blind and not read anything about it, go give it a watch. It's fun. It's the type of movie that we're all talking about. We want these smaller movies to make it. We want these types of movies to, go out there and do something. I liked it. I didn't think it was this huge blockbuster that's going to make $1 bajillion, but it doesn't need to. It's a good movie that had a great twist, and I'm into it. So
it was really good. I did watch a movie that was kind of in the same vein. That Netflix made with Megan Fox, and it was dog shit.
Well, like you said, Megan Fox.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the common denominator here?
Well, yeah, because I mean, we watched this, and and I remember hearing about the one that she did, and I was like, oh, it's kind of the same thing. So I watched it, and I was like, it's like you can tell a Netflix movie, like, it's just very soulless, and it is just content, like. The way they put it together, the way it's edited, the way it's cheaply done, like, it just seems like a Tubi movie almost. Like, it's just very, like we were, complaining before about things being mediocre. Like, that's what it was. It was very mediocre, and I was like, this movie is not good at all. I don't know what the big hype was when it first came out and everything. It was just like, okay, so I don't know. I'm glad I had comparison, because it was just like it was a giant letdown. But no, this Companion was great. Go watch it. Go check it out. It's definitely worth your money.
Yeah, I plan on seeing it. You guys said it was both. You both said it was really great. Ron told me that him and his brother went and watched it, and they liked it. So I'm like, I've got 3 people whose opinions on things I completely trust.
Go fuck yourself.
I wasn't even talking about you that time. Talking about A.A. Ron's brother, but you know what? Fuck it. All right. So yeah, I trust Jeff. A.A. Ron and A.A. Ron's brother. It's Nick whose opinion means absolutely fuck all to me.
There we go. There we go. Be consistent, goddammit. Be consistent, you motherfucker.
I threw you a bone on this one, and you had to go and fuck it right up. Did you? You entitled little prick. You have to have everything your way.
Listen, I told you at the beginning of the show I'm an asshole. Why is this news to you now?
You're supposed to be assholes to everybody but the 3 of us, because that saves the show dynamic. Nick, you're tearing us apart.
Yeah,
Fed up with this world.
yeah. You know, and I love Lisa so much. So
Anyway,
yeah.
how's your sex life?
We need
Oh God, we need
to
to
stabbing cabin.
yeah, we need to do a live drunk watch party for that again.
We will. No, we need to do is we need to just put it on and record ourselves watching it.
We do.
And if the video is appropriate to put out, that's how we'll get all the reactions. Because I am not going to temper anything I say when we're at the stabbing cabin. You know,
Yeah,
Right.
it's like, oh,
don't worry.
what are five things I wouldn't talk about on air? Well, let's talk about them here at the stabbing cabin.
Don't worry. If I record anything, I'll let you know I'm recording something. I'm not going to catch you in the moment.
Yeah,
Oh, good.
no.
How very un-California of you.
Right. I don't know. It's Tennessee. I guess Tennessee's got one of those two-way consents on recording shit.
They don't really worry about the recording thing. It's
They
more of
have a zero-way consent.
yeah.
It's
More of don't bang your first cousin, that kind of thing. So
That is important. Not the deal.
potato.
yeah, you don't want to make mongoloids. That's not good.
Jesus. Okay, it's good to see that 2025. Not only will we be allowed to say retard again, but we can bring back the M word too. That's awesome.
Isn't that what Jason Voorhees is? Is he the product of incest?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's go with that.
Actually, that makes sense. The way he looks.
He does.
That's my new. You know what, Nick? For Schlocktoberfest this year, we're going to put out an hour-long documentary on why Jason is the product of inbreeding.
Dude.
And then we're going to put as much research into it as the black guy dies first. We're going to publish a fucking
say less.
tour de force book.
Say less.
Yeah.
All right.
There we go. Instead of White Boy Summer, we're going to have handicapped Schlocktoberfest. And
oh my God! So we'll have to watch
physical or mental abnormality.
The Burning.
The Burning.
Yeah.
Back. What is it? Friday the 13th, Part 2 with the guy in the
Wow.
wheelchair.
Part 5, Chip Travolta. He's dead, by the way.
Is he really?
Okay,
Oh my
real
God.
quick. The joke that we always say, Chip Travolta, if you watch Part 6, that other guy is actually John Travolta's nephew.
Is
The
he
guy
really?
that gets his face put... Remember the guy that's driving the RV that gets stabbed in the side of the head?
Yeah.
That is actually Chip Travolta. That is a real Travolta. Chip Travolta? Not a Travolta.
But that RV death was fucking epic, though. That RV death
That's
was
the best part of that movie.
Yeah. Oh my God. So epic.
Yeah. So there we go. We should do that. We should do an ode to the handicapped in our Schlocktoberfest this year. We just talk about, handicapped anything. And then in November, we could have Miguel A. Nunez November.
I'm down.
That way we can. And every time we do something, we always have to have enchiladas. So it's
Enchiladas.
like
Those damn enchiladas.
we're gonna watch this movie about Miguel A. Nunez. We're gonna try to get him on the show. We're gonna eat these enchiladas, not because we're making fun of the guy. We actually,
Oh no, he's awesome. He's
love
great.
Miguel A. Nunez
great.
Jr.
He's great.
Do you want me to actually attempt to get these people on? Because we
Yes.
can make this stuff happen.
If
Okay.
you actually got Miguel A. Nunez Jr., I would be fucking thrilled because
All right, Jeff, your new goal is to get guests for the show.
I would have Ernest questions because he was in Slam Dunk Ernest. I would have Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence questions because he's in Life, and I love that movie too. I would have behind the scenes questions about when him being in the show Tour of Duty. So I would have what's it like making, we've seen military movies, what's it like doing a TV show version of that? I would have tons of questions about that. I probably wouldn't ask him about the goddamn enchiladas. That could be you. But yeah, I would be like, dude, you were like low key one of my like Mount Rushmore actors because you show up in so much shit that I love.
He was also in Black Dynamite.
Yeah, he's in Black Dynamite. Yeah.
We're gonna ask him about that.
Yeah, we can ask him about like how much fun was that fucking movie to make, or was it like the opposite of what we would expect it to be, which is you would think with all these people on this set, this ought to be a great time, but it was actually fucking miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as somebody's pointed out in the chat, he was the original, man playing women's sports in Juana Man.
Yep. That was
Which has now been banned.
Really?
Correct.
Not the movie.
Oh,
the act.
sorry. I was like, Juana Man's been banned? No, I understand.
No, Juana Man isn't banned. Juana Man was a fucking comedic movie that was hilarious at the idea of the man pretending to be a woman to dominate sports. Then it became a reality not too long ago.
Kendo, what's a crazier reality though? Juana Man or Soul Man?
Can I up you one and go with Watermelon Man? Because after I read what that movie's about, I'm like, we have to watch that.
I think I have it in my collection somewhere, or I'll find it. I'll acquire it.
Folks,
somehow, don't worry.
So
is he a boss in that movie?
I think so.
No, I don't know. No, I don't think he's. Well, anyway, folks, the disclosure: Watermelon Man is a movie I found on accident when I was trying to look up, because I'm taking my nephew to the races here in Vegas next month, and I wanted to get some swag of my new favorite race car driver, because I haven't had one of those since my last favorite race car driver got killed in a car wreck 20-something years ago. Yes.
Who was it?
Dale Earnhardt, when he went in the
wall.
Dude.
Dude.
I'm like, oh man, I can't have another favorite. But anyway, so the guy's name's Ross Chastain, but he goes by the term Melon Man. So they were calling him Melon Man at the racetrack. I had no idea why he was called this, but he had a t-shirt that was called I Love Melon. So I'm thinking, this dude got busted at a strip club or something. This is a great story. I'm 100% team Melon Man. Until I found out that the reason why he's called Melon Man, which is still cool, is he's a watermelon farmer, and when he wins races, he smashes watermelons. Not Gallagher style. He just slams them down on the racetrack. But then he also did like this really cool maneuver where he like got himself in the playoffs or something by riding the wall with his car and just like slingshotting around. Essentially, he's what Ricky Bobby wishes he could be. So long story short, looking up Melon Man stuff, I found this movie called Watermelon Man, which is about an insurance agent who's racist all hell and wakes up one day to find out he is now black. So there you go.
Dr. Coffinails has seen it.
Yeah. There's even another one called Watermelon Woman.
Oh, according to the chat, a Return of the Living Dead is also a Miguel A. Nunez Jr. joint.
Oh yes,
he's
yeah. Actually, hold on a second.
I don't want to dox who that is because I know who that is, but if he wants me to tell everybody, I will tell everybody who Blaze Sith 82 is.
Oh shit! I'm actually gonna see Miguel Nunez at Days of the Dead.
You son of a bitch!
Yeah, at towards the end of this month.
Tell him I said hi.
Would you like me to get anything signed for you, Kendo? Anything at all?
If you could find a divot or a videotape of fucking Slam Dunk Ernest, I would be glad to have you sign that. And if he's cool enough to be like, hey, if you're willing to, he's likes to send a video or something like, hey, Kendo, I heard you actually like a huge fan, whatever.
Let's see what I can find on the eBays real quick.
Well, while you look that up, folks, what you have on screen in front of you is the often talked about, but apparently I had never seen it, and a lot of people hadn't seen it, the apparently lost Henry Cavill audition footage for James Bond. Now, many people love Henry Cavill as Superman, me included, but a lot of people like to think of him as the greatest what if. What if this guy was James Bond? And every time the discussion of a new James Bond actor pops up, everyone goes, what about Henry Cavill? Well, this is Henry Cavill auditioning for Bond, and I think I can speak for all of us that if we lived in a world where Henry Cavill was James Bond, nobody would be complaining.
No, not at all.
Alas, we don't have that, and we have Daniel Craig. But
yeah.
I wanted to play a couple of seconds of this to see Henry Cavill as James Bond.
Let's do it.
And what rank do you hold with the motor vehicles department, Mr. Bond?
Commander.
Shall we go?
This one is an admiral.
Am I going to enjoy spending work?
Nice to meet you, Mr. Bond.
Pleasure, I'm sure. Was all.
All right, so obviously that's the scene from GoldenEye, and it's a little early to call it out, but not the world's greatest performance.
No, it was definitely a little toned down. It looked like so I do like Ruddy's comment about was he auditioning to be the Greek James Bond. That is actually funny. Good job, buddy. That is that hell of a joke.
Stavros Bond.
Stavros Bond. But, My big fat Greek spy. That'd be great. But yeah, it looks like he is auditioning to play Pierce Brosnan in a movie about the making of James Bond.
Yeah. I thought this was going to be kind of like one of those, oh man, we really missed out on something great. But now it's kind of like the Tim Curry playing the Joker, where in theory, Tim Curry doing the voice of the Joker sounds awesome. But then you actually hear him doing the voice of the Joker and you realize why he was replaced. I'm not saying this performance, this test footage, the thing I showed you a couple seconds of, would negate a possibly great performance. But I can understand why you watch this and go, maybe not that guy.
Yeah.
Now, this was also 20 years ago, and the guy's talent has definitely improved. But
Which, by the way, I would like to point out what me and Henry Cavill have in common. We are both massive Chiefs fans. So I know what he'll be doing on Sunday or Monday morning, wherever he's at. But yeah, Henry Cavill has been that person for the last several years where we keep going, that's who we want for Bond. Because we've seen him do so many great movies and do such a great job at everything he's doing that now we see this. And it's kind of like, don't meet your heroes type situation. It's like, ooh, he's trying not to be Bond, but he's not. I don't know. I'm not buying that version of Bond. However, as you mentioned, it's 20 years on, and he probably can do a whole heck of a lot better if he really tried to. Because this is young Henry Cavill actor. This is not Henry Cavill, the seasoned veteran that we have now. So I guarantee if you gave him a screen test now and said, hey, we want you to read this scene from GoldenEye and, be Bond. We want to be the new Bond. I think we'll see a whole lot different. It'll be great.
Oh, of course. 100% we would. By the way, Kendo, I bought the VHSs are really cheap, and I bought 2 of them, one for myself as well.
I can 100% believe that the videotape of Slam Dunk Ernest was probably not very expensive.
Yeah,
they were more expensive than Air Bud. I gotta know what the market is for Air Bud versus Slam Dunk Ernest.
Oh God, Slam Dunk Ernest was like $5 for the VHS, and once again, like I said, yeah, like I said, I got 2 of them, one for me, one for him. So
Air Bud on VHS is a whopping $5.69. Okay,
man. So Slam Dunk Ernest is not even worth Air Bud money. Damn.
Hold on, I see it for as low as $2.50 in the.
Okay, there we go. We got some redemption. There's some redemption.
You can get it for $2 on Whatnot. Here's the description: Air Bud 1997 VHS clamshell Walt Disney's family comedy Disney basketball dog.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
that's a great description.
Yeah, the clamshell Disney stuff is actually worth some money. People love that shit,
especially if you got like the one like the Little Mermaid with the dick drawn on the castle. That one, people for some reason really.
I think I have that in my collection. I know I've got some of the older ones.
You think you have it? I saw you have 5 copies of it, Nick, in the wrapper.
God, if I had them in the wrapper, I'd go get them graded.
Nick walks into the Goodwill. Hey, you got any videotapes of the Little Mermaid with the dicks drawn on it?
I just want a clip of you walking into public place and saying that out loud.
Oh gosh.
I only want it if it's got the dicks on the castle.
Oh man, yeah, I don't think Goodwill does VHS anymore. Can you even find them there?
Maybe, I don't know. I walked in one lately.
Yeah.
Well, the Half Price Bookstore thinks they got a bunch of money in it, so they've jacked up the price of their videotapes.
Now the collector's market, Jeff.
Yeah, not really a thing that I'm going to acknowledge. I'll just buy a better format called DVD or Blu-ray or 4K.
I agree, yeah. I mean, what was it? There was a company right now, Vice Press, who just put out They Live VHSs. And they look cool, but like, it's a shitty format.
Who still has a VCR? I mean, I do technically have a VCR, but I don't know if it's
we have VCRs, but like, nobody else. I mean, I'm sure very seldom people have it, and like apparently they're real expensive to get off Amazon now. So, and there are new ones, but once again they're expensive.
We live in the era where the VCR is now worth what the VCR used to be in 1982.
Yeah,
love it.
Yep.
It's so stupid too, because in 1982 it was the hot format. Like there's videotape, there was Disco Vision, there was Betamax, but everybody wanted the VCR for the VHS VCR. Because that was it. That was kind of like the gold standard. Now it's a bunch of ironic people that, oh, I want to remember the feelings I had when I was a kid. We all do, man. But just because do not subject your kids to shitty videotapes because that's what you grew up on. They don't give a damn about, oh man, don't you remember the trailer for the Dumb and Dumber cartoon on the Dumb and Dumber videotape? No. Show your kid a damn movie. Don't make them sit through a videotape where they're, oh, why is this what does tracking mean, Dad? And all this other crap. Like, guys, I get it. We all want to share parts of our lives and childhoods with the people, our families, next generations. But we're getting to a point where we're making the thing that we share, like, the tool that just existed to live. Like, it's like the equivalent of getting like nostalgic over a specific model of a toilet. It's like all it does is flush your shit away. This videotape player, all it did was play a movie. It doesn't make this plastic rectangle any better than this disc.
But Jeff, you don't know the magic of being able to put it in there and hearing the tape go in and the clicking sounds, and then the thing comes on and you see those little lines at the bottom, and then it fixes itself, and then when you hit pause, the screen does one of these. And then when you're done with it, you get to hit the button and you get to hear the whirling of the gizmo as it rewinds. It's so magical, and I'm so glad we don't have to do that anymore. But
remember the videotape rewinders that people would buy?
God, yes. Oh
and
my
you could
God.
get them that look like race cars and all sorts of other cool shit.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: you can relive the magic of the shit that you liked as a kid and how it felt to watch those things with your kids by buying the Blu-rays or the DVDs. And you don't have to go and buy the videotape, because the DVD can still get fucked up, especially if you put it in the microwave. But
yeah, be careful.
It's a lot harder to do that, and it doesn't happen as easily unless you intentionally are trying to screw it up. Whereas a videotape could either just randomly break when you were rewinding it. The tape would wear out. After watching the thing 15, 20 times, the tape would start to wear out and you would get the permanent lines on it. Videotapes are cool. They're not that cool that in 2025, it's like cassette tapes. Cassette tapes were cool. Pop you in your Walkman and go. But the sound quality on music on CD and MP3 is far superior to what it was on a cassette tape.
Dude, cassette tapes are coming back too. They have like brand new ones that are like $200 cassette players.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
Because the vinyl thing already happened. We had the vinyl craze, and the vinyl craze worked through the last decade. And now we're in a new decade and a half or so that we need to get back into. What do the kids love in the 80s and 90s? Oh, videotape or cassette tapes. Let's get cassette tapes out there.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for them to discover 8-tracks, try to bring that back.
Nobody wants those back. and I say this as somebody that has a vinyl record collection and has a tabletop record player and everything. And when I go home, I always love to pop that thing out and play records and go, man, this sounds so cool. This is what it must have been like for my dad to sit down and listen to Steppenwolf 2. But at the same time, I also know that it's a whole lot easier to just go like this on my phone, boom, and now I can, go on a Magic Carpet ride all I fucking want with high quality, and I could connect it to my pill little speaker thing and just rock the fuck out, without having to worry about the needle coming off the record.
Dude, digital music is the most convenient thing. It's like, oh, I'm gonna connect to my speaker or my Bluetooth surround sound system in the living room, and there you go. It's not like back in the day when you got to plug in either the CD player to the amplifier and your whole surround sound system.
Oh yeah, jeez.
Remember the universal remotes that were like literally the size of this fucking box?
Oh yeah,
dude, I remember
sideways. Those things.
It was like Doc Brown's, and you're sitting there like, all right, wide, treble, bass, all these different like functions on your remote. That was the future, and it kind of sucked because it was like really cumbersome. It was cool,
it was
but not really in hindsight anymore.
You know what was cool, but so totally not cool now, is getting in your car that has a cassette deck and taking your Discman, plugging that thing in, and plugging that cassette into the cassette deck to play your Discman through the stereo and having it skip every time you went over something that was a little bumpy.
Yes.
Dude, I unironically enjoy when a CD skips because I can't stop laughing. Like, I'll watch YouTube videos of just CD skipping because sometimes you would put on a fucking song and you're like, all right, it always skips when Eminem says, "Mom spaghetti," and then every once in a while you'd put it on and you get past the mom spaghetti and you're like, oh my god, the CD works, and then it gets to another part and it just skips, and you're like, no, and it will never work.
Yeah, remember the Walkmans or whatever they were had like the anti-shock thing, and it like ate through your battery like crazy. Like,
dude,
I guess it was buffering the song or something, it was crazy.
Let's get these people, like the nostalgia junkies, let's get them hooked up on like Sega Game Gear, where you need 8 AA batteries to play for like 2 hours on a screen this big, but it's in color. And then you go, but it's not like my phone can run Grand Theft Auto. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're getting nostalgic for dumb shit. And I'm of the age that I live, like, there's a lot of older listeners out there that remember 8-track, but we were all of the age with videotapes, with CDs, with the advent of digital, and some of us even used record players growing up. They fucking sucked. I want to read some of these messages in a minute, but what were you going to say, Nick?
I was going to say the closest thing we had was the Columbia House collection that you got for a penny.
Yes. Yeah, you can get all these CDs for just a penny, but you're going to get the one each month. You have to remember to send back within 7 days. If not, you're going to pay the full price. And the full price was always way more than you'd get it in a store. You could go to the CD store or a cassette, the music store, and get that CD or cassette for like $10. But if you got it from Columbia House, it was like $25. And that's if you didn't remember to send the son of a bitch back. Which, guess what most people did? They forgot to send the damn thing back. Or they didn't send it back in time.
Yeah, and then they got a bill, and they're like, oh my god, why is it so much? Like, oh well.
Don't be an asshole, Richard. Take back your tapes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a very famous Simpsons joke about that. The one where Lisa gets addicted to the 900 hotline. Yes, that used to be a thing. You would dial 1-900 something, Mix-a-Lot, or whatever it was on your phone, and you would pay like 50 cents for the first minute, and then the amount would go up depending on how many minutes you were still on the phone line. And then, they get the phone bill, and Homer makes the joke about the first 10 records were only a penny, and then they jacked up the price, and he starts crying. That's Columbia House. Except for it wasn't records, it was cassettes and CDs.
They eventually did movies too.
Oh shit, they did?
Yeah, because I remember going over to my mom had a friend, and she's like, oh yeah, my parents have Columbia House. We got all these new movies. And that's when I first saw The Fugitive as a kid. They were like,
oh,
you can borrow all these movies from us. So
oh, they were doing Netflix before it was Netflix. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, 8 movies for a penny, but it was like $35.99 for one episode of, I don't know, Bugs Bunny if you didn't return it in time or some shit.
Yeah. Enrique Vasquez says, don't forget to carry that big ass. I still have one of those giant buck clobbering CD binders that's like this wide, but like this thick with like 300 CDs in there, because up until recently, I still bought CDs and would continue to buy CDs until I bought a new car a couple years ago, and it doesn't have a CD player. So I stopped buying CDs because I'm like, if I buy CDs, I cannot listen to them in the car. How do I listen to all this? How do I get this digital music? Well, then I found out I have to buy a CD-ROM for my computer, put all my music CDs in there, and burn all that shit over to a digital file, then upload it to my phone. I'm like, that is too much fucking work. I am just not buying CDs anymore. I have a stereo that plays CDs back home. I will just listen to CDs there if I really have to.
Dude, I have one of those binders, the biggest, like one of the biggest ones you could have back then, but it's all full of like burnt DVDs I used to like bootleg back in the day, because I would go to
once a pirate, always a pirate.
Yeah, because I'd go to my local mom and pop video store like every Tuesday, and like I'd see what they had, and if they had any good ones, I'd copy them off and keep them for myself. If they didn't, I'd give them back. But I would always go to the mom and pop ones because they would always have the old movies, and they always have they had a really good library of stuff. So that's where I'd go, and I'd just burn through a lot of stuff. Or after a while, I wouldn't even burn it to a DVD. I would just convert it to a file and put it on my hard drive. So
see, I can get down with people collecting videotapes for the art, or collecting videotapes because it's a kitschy, weird thing. It's not a problem. But when you try to convince me that it's the premier format,
no,
get out of here. Now, a reason I'm bringing that up is we got a couple of messages about that.
Well, I really want to see at least a sample of like the Alien Romulus VHS. I want to see how like what that looks like on a TV.
You know what it looks like is when you would tape a videotape from a DVD, and it would look like that, just kind of shitty. You're just like, oh, okay, it's the movie, but it's kind of dark.
Gotcha.
Saying that videotapes is the premiere format would be like somebody like me going, no, those film reels that we used to watch in school, that was the premiere format. It's like, no, it's not. Those are terrible. It sucked.
I need to, you know what? When we need the 7 cabinet, I need to bring over those like old school like like those health videos. I have them on a DVD somewhere in like a box. I need to bring those over. We need to watch those.
Know what,
them on
dude,
the TV.
Yes, you do.
When the teacher would wheel in the fucking cart with the 2-reeler on it and pull down the screen, and you'd have the thing on there that would eventually run out and you hear as it was flipping around, and she had to change out the reel. Okay, that was cool because it got you out of having to actually do schoolwork and shit. But I would never want to watch a movie that way.
Yeah, that was. I think it was. I think it may have been Shot Factor or something. I bought it a few years ago. No, it was Synapse. It was Synapse. I bought it from that guy, and it was like this lunchbox that came in with all these DVDs from those like health videos, and it's like it's the most dated shit ever. I love it. They're ridiculous. It has like the weird music, and it's just one of those things you see, you make fun of, and it's all of them. It's all of them.
Johnny's a man now.
Yeah, they have
to be
all
careful
of them.
around Susie.
Yeah, it's all of them. It's great. They're wonderful. But we'll put them all on the background and just have a good time.
Yeah, we'll take some California shots and really pay close attention to them.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
Let's check in with the audience because I want to talk a little more about some of these super chats. First off, Xavier to God says Leo is voiced by Jason Biggs and Seth Green in the TMNT from 2012.
Oh, that's what Jason's doing these days. He's not banging pies anymore.
Yeah,
he'll be the pie.
Yeah, that's right. The pie fucker is he was the voice of Leonardo in the 2012 Ninja Turtle series.
You think Jason Biggs is cool or like secretly on edge around fans that they're gonna embarrass him about American Pie?
I feel like
I think he's cool with it. He's from the interviews you see with him, I think he gets it and he understands that he like many people in the entertainment industry has gotten pigeonholed by one thing that he is extremely iconic for, but he seems like he gets it enough to know that if it wasn't for that, he wouldn't be famous and have a lot of money. So I think he's cool with it. Now, that's not to say like 30 years from now, 75-year-old Jason Biggs might not want to be yelled at, the way that Dion and I yelled at Tom Savini about one role that he did. I feel like at a certain point when he's an old man, he might not want to be called pie fucker by people, but at the same time, I think he gets it enough for now that he's okay with it.
Do you think he actually still gets people like that come up to him?
Oh, I'm sure he does.
In general?
Probably not as much as back then. I'm sure.
No,
you have to be our age to know who he is, kind of thing.
If it was 2005, yes, Jeff, I would say yes. In 2005, Jason Biggs has people walking up to him all the time asking about pie fucking or calling him a pie fucker. In 2025, he's probably not, because the people that would say that shit to him are the same age as us, and we're of the time period now where we're not going to just walk up to Jason Biggs and be like, "Hey, pie fucker." Because
you would.
No, I'm a well-adjusted adult. I wouldn't do that. That's something stupid. However, I think he gets it. I would like to think that he's just like, yeah, you know what? That was a thing I did 26 years ago, and it made me famous. So
he was on Dr. Phil Live, and the pie did come up, and there was a whole scene with that you should. I mean, if you want to, you should check out. It's hilarious. So
there goes that porno music. Jason Biggs is famous for one reason: sticking his wiener in a pie, and hey, that's okay. Ruddy has an interesting question: could Mummies Alive be a successful movie franchise? I remember the Mummies Alive. I loved that show as a kid.
What was that cartoon about?
Mummies that were alive.
That's it.
I never watched it, but I would guess that's what it was.
Yeah,
about,
I remember. Yeah, I remember the toys and everything from it. I remember the commercials a little bit too. And I don't remember what it was, what the premise was. But yeah, Mummies Alive, obviously.
Yeah, it's an animated series about a young boy who has the spirit of a pharaoh's son living inside of him.
Okay.
Cool.
All right.
I think
I-
that's an
I
Iron
did
Maiden
watch this.
song, but all right.
It was on for one season in 1997.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I remember watching it as well, but it was just one of those things where like I've forgotten the premise, but that's fine.
I
toys
think I
were
was
cool.
a little old for that at that point. I was probably not watching Mummies Alive.
Dude,
or
I remember
Boys.
SWAT. I remember SWAT Cats.
No.
I remember SWAT Cats as well.
Yeah, and what was it? Pirates of
Darkwater.
Pirates of Darkwater. Yeah.
I have those toys.
Yeah, Parts of Dark Water didn't like it ended on a cliffhanger. There was no like definitive ending. It
Oh,
was
so like the
terrible.
Tick that Jeff and I loved.
That was such a good show that Amazon's like,
was.
now we're not gonna go further.
Yeah.
Dude,
Assholes.
I was
Assholes.
watching something with the old man from The Tick, but he was playing a real serious character, and he was kind of an asshole. And I'm like, why do I know this guy is such a friendly dude? And then I look, I'm like, oh, it's the guy from The Tick.
guy
And then
from
I
The
couldn't
Tick.
take it seriously anymore. Ruddy, thank you very much. I would watch a Mummies Alive film, but the Mummies Alive is kind of like Inspector Gadget or James Bond Jr. or SWAT Cats or Eek the Cat or Biker Mice from Mars or the Cowboys of Moo Mesa, where they're
Jeez,
very
man.
fun shows that we all look back and love. But I don't think there was, put it like this, a show to get that like forever nostalgia has to come out within a certain window. So like Star Wars, yes, it went away in the 80s, but it came back in the early 90s and it stuck around since 1995. So for 30 years it's been around, it's had its revival. But The Mummy's Alive is almost 30 years old itself, and I don't think people have thought about it, much like James Bond Jr. or any other shows. So I don't think they'll ever touch it, but the idea of something Egyptian and horrific and action-adventure-y, I think could work, but they probably won't do that.
Nope.
John Thomas, thank you very much. Disney adults are like boomers. The 1911 won 2 world wars, and eventually the group ages out. I have a 1911, but it doesn't beat my Glock or Sig.
Dude, that outside of the fact that my father does not own a 19, I mean, as far as I know, he does not own a 1911, is 100% accurate. He never screamed about the higher caliber winning the world wars, but he is the reason why my primary defense handgun was and still is a 45 caliber, because it is stopping power. You got to knock him down. If you got some, I'm not going to say exactly his wordage about it, coming at you that's all hopped up on, PCP, and you hit him with a little 380 or a 38 or a 9mm, he's going to keep coming at you. You hit him with these 45s, he's going down. So it's like, yeah, I guess I got to go buy myself a Glock 21, Dad. I got to get 45 caliber. And it is just extremely cumbersome in practical use situations for out and about carry purposes. Whereas you can get yourself a really nice compact 9 that will do the job, because I'm not going to get into the whole concealed carry class of all the ballistics information that the gentleman gave us about why you want to go small with your gun choice. But that's true. The boomers and Disney are all I'll give him that. Good job, John Thomas. That is a hell of an analogy, because I've lived it. And still do, because I love my 45.
When I visit you eventually at Camp Kendo, we'll have to go shooting.
I'm 100% positive, 99.9% positive, that I can, take Mr. Gaston Glock on the road with me from Camp Kendo through maybe Southern Illinois, Kentucky, into Tennessee to the mountains on a peaceable journey. And I will not be hounded by the police officers for taking that with me, because I won't obviously do something stupid like have it loaded in anywhere near where I can get a hold of it real easy, because I am a smart and responsible gun owner. And I'm pretty sure if we're out there in the mountains of Gatlinburg or wherever it is that we're at, we very well probably could go out there and nobody would care.
No, they wouldn't. Plus, Tennessee's open carry, so you're fine.
Missouri's open carry too. That's one of the things that was the hardest thing. Although living in New Mexico and Nevada, I do believe their gun laws are circa 1886, and you can still get away with most of that shit here. But
are duels still legal in Vegas? Because I want to duel like the guy who owns the Wynn and Vince McMahon.
Don't think so, because I'm pretty sure the way they duel now, because it was all mobbed up, that if you try to do it to a duel, you'll either get Tommy gunned or cement shoes.
Ooh,
although there's no water around, so I don't know where they would dump you. Maybe they'll take you down to the Hoover Dam would just
They'll take you to the Bellagio fountain.
Yeah, they'll drown you in the Bellagio fountain.
You just start drowning.
That would be. I don't think it's that deep. So if they threw you in there with cement shoes, you'd only be up to like your chest, and you'd be
but it's
going, help.
it would just be a massive inconvenience. Be like, God damn it.
Our friend Overkill161, thank you. He says, "Go sports ball teams for Super Bowls." Game out of breath, Hogan, please. Yeah, I'm gonna press this button for you right now, and then, we got some more messages. You guys are hungry tonight for some more WCBS. So
we love it. Keep sending them in.
Yeah, we do, folks. We will go for as long as you need us to or want us to. Right now, you need a breath of fresh air.
Sounds like me walking up the stairs last week when I forgot to refill my inhaler.
Not bad, huh?
What the fuck?
And I had the flu, so I was like, okay, I know I'm out of shape, but I can't be this bad. But yeah, now this week I'm back to normal, so don't feel the greatest, but I'm like, I at least got my air back. Still out of shape, but I can at least walk up the stairs without sounding like Hogan trying to breathe.
That's good. That's good,
brother. John Thomas says, "Jeff, that's how I feel about these people raving about vinyl when listening to music on a crappy turntable that would be bought for kids. There's a reason my generation beat feet to CDs. Because it's the better format."
I mean, he's right, except for vinyl is really awesome. So you're wrong. I'm right.
Yeah, I've got a nice soundtrack collection going on that I really like. So
I buy vinyl of stuff I like. I just don't listen to it.
Yeah, so that's my thing. I joke, but yeah, CDs. Obviously, the sound quality is way better, but I do enjoy the feeling of putting on a vinyl record because, again, it's like, hey, this is how my dad must have felt when he listened to Steppenwolf. Goddamn, the Pusher, man.
All my vinyls are like of old movies. I know I got the Warriors soundtrack vinyl from Waxwork Records. So yeah, it's always just a bunch of old movies that I have them for. I feel it's apropos for those to like be on vinyl anyway, so it's fine.
Now my question is this, Nick: when you buy these albums of these soundtracks, are you buying the new pressings or are you getting the originals?
Oh, the new pressings, unfortunately, the new pressings. Yeah.
What a douchebag. At least I can sit there and proudly display my fucking Iron Butterfly and it got a DeVita record and it was actually made in the 70s.
Dude, you're a fucking hipster. Calm down.
Hey, my Beverly Hills Cop soundtrack is from 1985.
See? Are you going to call him a hipster too, Nick? You hypocritical
Yes, I will.
prick.
Jeff, you're a hipster for that.
Now, I don't have the original. I don't have the original release with the Rick James song on it, but I should get that.
Well, it also matters how many old vinyls do you have, Jeff? Because I'm sure.
Okay, so I have. I got like original Miami Vice vinyl.
Okay.
Like, why would they repress the Miami Vice soundtrack?
I'm sure Kendo's got way more. I'm sure Kendo's I'm sure all Kendo's like stuff is original.
Hold on, I do have a couple original James Bonds from the '60s, like original pressing James Bond soundtracks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all.
Are you talking about the ones that I've actually purchased myself, or the ones that I'm already figuring on inheriting, and the ones I technically inherited because my dad doesn't want them because he has no use for Gomer Pyle records?
Gomer Pyle.
Oh yeah, Jim Nabors was a singer.
My grandmother fucking loved Jim Nabors. It broke her heart when she found out he was gay and married some guy to live on a macadamia nut ranch in Hawaii. To which I was like, "How could you have not known, Grandma?" I mean, it was obvious.
Of course, he likes macadamia nuts.
That's not the nuts he likes.
So, I mean, if those things were worth any money, I would be sitting on a mint of Jim Nabors records. But unfortunately, nobody wants to listen to Jim Nabors sing hymns. So they're worth almost nothing. But I got some good stuff, some stuff that I've bought. And again, stuff that I know that I will inherit, like, Led Zeppelin 2 when it came out. And my dad, who was 15 years old, going and buying the sumbitch. So,
jeez, man. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're all hipsters. We have vinyl.
And original comic books and shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a Spider-Man number 27 that's not in the best of shape, but it's from, like 1966. So I'm like, this is terrible in condition. But this is a comic book from like, before I was born, when my dad was like 10 and not buying comic books because he was never into it. This is awesome.
You said 27's your oldest?
I believe so.
My oldest is number 16.
Shit.
Nice.
I pulled out my spreadsheet. I actually
You had your spreadsheet.
I literally have a spreadsheet for the Amazing Spider-Man because
Love it.
I started it when I was in college, and I thought if I'm going to collect these books, the last thing I need to do is get repeats. And so I came up with a Google spreadsheet like 15 years ago, and now you can use it on my phone. So it's great.
I really started collecting them like 22 or so years ago, I did not have a Google spreadsheet because they didn't have that back then. I just had a little notebook where I just wrote out all the numbers from 1 through whatever they were at and just started checking them off as I got them. So that way I knew, do I have this one? No, I don't. It was easier with the big ones. Like, hey, I don't have the first appearance of the Hobgoblin. Let's go ahead and just buy that right now. So
I do have the first appearance of the Hobgoblin. It was
I do
gifted to
now
me by my uncle.
Yeah, as I say, I did buy that one. I've got number 300 that I actually got for relatively cheap at the time off eBay for like $20 in pretty good shape. It is now worth way more than that.
Dude, I paid $150. Sorry, I paid $175 for the copy I bought in 07 or 08. But it's a really good quality copy. Like, if it was graded, I'm guessing a high 8, maybe a 9, because I never even took it out of the bag. Like, that thing is super crispy.
You should. I mean, well, okay, but I mean, would you sell it, or are you just going to keep it?
I got most of the collection. If somebody made me like a stupid offer to buy my Spider-Man books, like, okay, sure. Like,
hey, Jeff, I'll give you $15 million for your comic books. Jeff's going to take that because you know he could do with that 15. He'd take that $15 million and buy all of them over again, and still. You know what I do with that
$15 million? Not a whole hell of a lot. I don't have to do. I still do the show, but I would just like my family, except for my mom. I would just disappear, meaning I'd retire. I'd be like, guys, I got a job in another state. I'm moving. I'm taking my mom. Everyone would be like, hey, that's good for you. In reality, I made $15 million from Kendo because money is nothing. We just pull it out of the air and we give it to each other.
Suddenly the house across the street, the first sale sign comes out and says sold. I'm like, oh, they finally sold that house. And then like 2 days later, I see Jeff and his mom rolling up in a U-Haul and be like, huh, that $15 million worked out for him.
Vegas, huh?
You came at a good time of year.
It ain't bad. It ain't bad. Yeah.
Our friend Ditto73 says, and let's not forget the other fun part about the VHS, trying to get the film strip back in the cassette because the VCR decided to eat it.
Oh, yeah, that's
Holy
a big one.
Shit.
That's a big one.
Thing, yeah, same thing with cassette tapes on, your walk.
You gotta get your pencil.
Yeah,
yes,
it would start to make a weird squeaky, scribbly sound. You'd pull it out, and if you pulled it too fast, you would rip that son of a bitch and tape in half. You had to like open it up and just slowly pull it out, and you had to slowly work it all together, and then you had to do that. But the son of a bitch and thing still crinkled and creased, so that your cassette was all fucked to begin with. So,
yeah, once you get one little fold in the cassette, like it's game over. It's done.
Yeah, folks. They were cool back then. If you did experience them back then, you're not going to realize how cool they were to experience because that was what we had, and that was the coolest thing going. I'm telling you, as somebody that lived through dealing with all this stuff, just like these guys can tell you because they lived through dealing with this stuff, the shit we have now is better.
Yep. Like, you got to remember, too, I'm a little younger than these guys, so tapes were like the shitty alternative to the CD. Like, nobody wanted anything on tape. Like, if you were driving around in a car with a tape player, people were kind of like, oh, this is the cheap model. Like, it was like nobody really wanted tapes. Like,
dude, I remember
CD was like the cool thing. And then when video games moved over to CDs, it was incredible. Like, everybody wanted to go on the CD. And then it was the CD, like, it had its time. I guess it really started in, 1985 as the first CD player. So
yeah, but they were like tons of money. But they didn't become like a thing until the mid-90s.
Yeah, but the time they phased them out, it had been around for about 20 years at that point. But to me, the CD felt like it came and went. Like with the DVD, where it's like, the DVD was awesome. That was like a game-changing format where you're like,
God,
wait,
yes.
I can fit how much on this disc? And I don't have... Here's the thing. It didn't even matter. It was, I don't have to rewind this. That was literally the selling point.
Dude, there was...
That's it. It's not like, oh man, it's so cool and it's advanced. No, you don't have to rewind movies anymore.
No, and also you had rental houses like they could put in 2 DVDs in the place of 1 VHS.
Yeah.
That was happening as well. And like every rental video rental place ever, like they were converting to DVD because it was cheaper. Jeez, don't get me started. Don't get me fucking started on that, man.
You used to get like bonus cuts of movies for free.
Yep.
Yeah, they were chock full of a wonderful, hilarious, fun shit that you would never see. There were Easter eggs. There were things like I think there was a whole thread like years ago where you could like type in numbers or do like up, down, left, right, and get like things to pop up on the DVD that you can't do now. Nobody gives a shit now about any of that stuff. It's terrible because we had wonderful, like even the Harold and Kumar DVD, I think, or Blu-ray. Oh no, it was a DVD. They would be driving in the car and they would look at you down the lens and be like, "Hey, go ahead and press play, asshole! Like, get this going. Come on, why are we here?" Like, it was hilarious.
Yeah,
it was so much fun.
As much as I loved Black Sabbath Paranoid on cassette and listened to that on cassette in my car that only had a tape deck, the second I had access to a CD player, I replaced that thing with a CD, and I was like, I got to go rebuy this as a CD. Clerks, one of my favorite movies. I had it on tape. I loved watching that tape. I'd get bored. I'm like, I'm just going to put Clerks in. I'm going to put Clerks in because I'm going to watch this while I do something else on my computer downstairs. As soon as that 10th anniversary edition came out in 2005, and I could replace that thing with a DVD box set that had tons of extra shit, guess what I did? I bought the DVD, and I still own that. I never upgraded from that because that was like the perfect edition
Clerks
of that
X
movie.
is the shit.
I have that. That will never leave my possession outside the fact that it is on a shelf 2,000 miles away. Technically, it's still in my possession because it is in my house.
Hey, it works.
But,
it works.
It's one of those things. It's like, I will never replace that. And again, yeah, dude, DVDs were great. The fucking Super Troopers DVD.
Oh, my God.
With the interactive fun games. And you could do this syrup shooting game. And also, DVDs were so much fun. They are great.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Blu-rays look better, but you don't get half the shit you got with DVDs.
No, and I think some of the DVDs even had like PS1 or PS2 games on them. Some like that was rare to find, but some of them did have those games on there that you could just put into the PS2 and it would play the game for the movie or something on there.
That is why the PS2 is still the best-selling console of all time, because you could play PS1 games on it, you could play DVDs on it, you could play all sorts of shit on it. I never owned an actual specific just DVD-only player ever because by the time I was ready to replace my VCR, PlayStation 2 was out. PlayStation 2 could play DVDs. So what did I do? I bought a PlayStation 2, and I bought a bunch of DVDs with college money that I was supposed to be using for other things. But I was like, no, I have to have this PlayStation 2 now. Working for $7.50 at the Kroger just ain't worth it. I have to use this money right now to buy this PlayStation 2. College Football 2003, and the DVD set of Back to the Future and a few other things that I bought at the time. The original box set of Back to the Future, the blue one.
Yep.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yes. And even though I've replaced it with the Blu-rays and stuff, I still have not that was like one of the only DVD sets I'm like, I cannot trade this in for credit. I'm keeping this son of a bitch.
Yeah, and not just that. I mean, the Tuesdays were great. The Tuesday drops of new stuff was so good. You would go to Best Buy or Best Buy or FYE or wherever was near to you. You would go and like
Circuit City.
Fuck. Circuit City.
I will look back.
You,
they'll do those flyers that people will post scans of. I'll look back and they're like, this is 20-something years ago. And I'm like, wow, Xbox 360 and launch and all these new DVDs are 20 years ago. Like, I can't believe that it's been so long, but I can't believe looking back on how simplistic these things were back then. And they were just, I don't know, they seemed like a bigger deal. We're desensitized to all this crap.
So the most depressing place in Missouri that I know of.
Oh, God.
If Aaron is still in the chat, he'll know what I'm talking about. It is at Interstate 55 in Lindbergh Boulevard. If you're going north on 55 like we would have been, you'd get off at Lindbergh. The very first, right as you get off there was a Circuit City and a Toys R Us right next to each other.
Oh, God.
Those buildings are still there. They are something completely different now. But the Circuit City disappeared and the Toys R Us disappeared. The Honey Baked Ham is still there as far as I know. But those two just disappeared. That's like, to me, is like the most depressing place because it's right there by the South County Mall. It still did a whole ton of business. But that was two places that whenever we'd go out on a Friday night. Yeah, all right, there you go. So Blaze Sith 82. Hi, AA Ron. Yeah, it was right there. So there you guys, yeah, it was right there. It was like you get off the highway, Circuit City, we'd go clown around in there. We'd go into Toys R Us, and then we'd go. And here's the best part: that the mall right there, which was still cool at the time, across the hall, Honey Baked Ham is still there. Good to know. There's a Krispy Kreme across the street as well. But there was a KFC right there next to the mall that still had the buffet up until like 2002. So
Wow.
that was a heaven spot for
Dude.
any kid from Jeffco.
The KFC by the strip club in Indiana had the buffet until COVID.
Oh fuck.
Now, I never went to the strip club. I'd be honest if I did, but I went to that buffet a couple times. Dude, KFC buffet was legit because it's like it makes sense. Like of all the fast food chains, it makes sense that place should have a buffet because it's, they're just gonna make a big tray of it in the back anyway. Why not put it out and charge a couple extra bucks?
Dude, that was like heaven on a Friday night. Getting off, leaving school, going and picking up my buddies. We're like 16, 17 years old. We go to South County to cruise Lindbergh, but we didn't even cruise Lindbergh. We literally went to Circuit City to see all the shit that we couldn't afford because we were fucking poor, broke kids that worked at a grocery store for $6 an hour. Then we'd go to Toys R Us to see the stuff that we could kind of afford if we, budgeted right. And then we would go to KFC, hit up the buffet for like $8 or whatever it was, eat the shit out of some chicken and mashed potatoes and all sorts of good stuff. And then we'd go hang out at the mall and just walk around and look at a bunch of stuff that we still couldn't afford. But then there was also a giant arcade that we technically couldn't afford, but we used all the rest of our money on the arcade.
Simpler.
Yeah. Arcades, man. Yeah, those were fun too.
Hey, Ron knows. Cruise Lindbergh went to the movies. At the end of the road, there was the Dollar Show. There was a dollar theater there that you could go see movies for cheap. There was also an Old Country buffet in the plaza and a Hooters. The Hooters is still there. I don't remember what was in the store by that, but that is now a Home Depot. And then on the other end is the
Hooters in Missouri.
The corner of Lindbergh and 55 of the Circuit City
it's
and
like,
Toys R Us.
You know what? We should go there and then we should write country songs about everything we see. It's just the plight of America in one square area.
Just right.
I remember when I was a young lad.
Look, if Beyonce can win one, so can I.
Oh dear God, dude! Yeah. Well, I heard what is it? I heard that all her album took 72 writers to make. That's the number.
That's a lot of people. To make
and everyone said it was mid to shitty. So clearly it didn't hit.
The Grammys had to show how they are still diverse and woke by giving the Country Music Award to a black lady.
Isn't that the only reason she made that album? Is just to
pretty much. Well, I mean that they all thank her anyways. She's like the Clintons. If you're not nice to her, she'll kill you.
No, she won't. She'll just find somebody that can.
That's true.
I'm glad I'm not on Beyonce's radar. I feel safer. I'll sleep tonight.
Probably.
Our friend Aurora Uplink sends a message, says, hopefully everyone's having a good day. I feel trapped in a nightmare waiting for divine intervention to save me because I feel lost. Sorry to everyone. Or Aurora Uplinks, hopefully you're having at least a good time here with us on the show. We're having a great time. I forgot Dion didn't show up. I don't care.
Yeah.
There's no audio issues. There's no Hey guys.
Yeah, it's funny because when we fuck up sometimes he's like, oh, you wouldn't know what we're doing. It's like you have to reset your entire system every time you start, every single time.
But we still love Dion, although the show is way more white without him.
It's also way more coherent. But we're also not talking about trying to eat somebody's lo mein, which
there's a deep cut from about a year or so ago.
I watched that clip not that long ago, and I was thoroughly entertained. I was like, I know we made this, but it's me laughing at the background most of it. But that is probably, folks, go back and watch that short. It's a couple minutes long.
It's if you want to hear Dion explain cuckoldry, and I don't know how that ever was a subject on this podcast where we would either explain and or defend it. Just go watch Dion talk about eating lo mein.
Dude, I couldn't breathe that night. You guys were just going on and on and with such conviction. I couldn't. Oh man!
Don't say you guys. It was just one guy. It was
Yeah,
But still, but no, he was.
I
yeah,
was
he
to
was
talk about Hulk Hogan.
And I wanted to punch holes in his logic, which I was doing, but somehow he was plastering over those things really well.
It's
Not as
Dion
well as
plastered.
Not as well as he plastered over his holes in his logic about not being able to go back in time 100 years and being able to understand the way people talk because of how the illiteracy rates were or some shit or another. But
dude, I actually got done reading the Michael Crichton book Timeline, and like they had to go like obviously they went back way further, but like
They still spoke to each other.
They still, but like it was really difficult. Like there was a point where like one of the characters was talking to somebody from like 17th century like France or whatever, or sorry, 13th century France or wherever the hell it was, and he even had a translator in his ear, and he still couldn't say things correctly.
Yeah, but the equivalent is like Dion talking to somebody from like 1975, and it just doesn't click. It's like they don't know how to verbalize watching Star Wars.
Yeah, no, they
English
don't.
Isn't the same language anymore.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not. Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
well,
yeah.
I'll give you that the vernacular changes and the slang terms. Like, kids will look at me funny at work when I say something is excellent or radical or something like that because my slang began in the 80s with heavy influence of the 80s into the 90s and retarded somewhere around like 2001. Not that way, but you know, in what the actual verbiage of my development became arrested in terms of my slang by about 2001 or 2002. So I understand that if some kid walked up to me talking about how something is so skibbity, I'm going to have no idea what the hell he's talking about. But I'm smart enough to understand context and being able to get the context of the conversation and be like, I think I can maybe understand what his nonsense filler word is all about. But
you're not allowed to drop kick him, are you?
No. Unfortunately, my job capacity does not allow violence towards the children's. But as satisfying as it would be at times. But at the same time, I sent Dion the video of where they've done research on it, and they were like, how far back could you go in time?
You sent him, you found the video and sent him the video?
I found it, and I sent it to him. He goes, his response was, LOL, that looks interesting. I'll give it a watch. I'm like, he's not. But
hey, what was the window of time for inquiring minds that may not want to watch the whole video?
Essentially, you could go back about 500, 600 years and be able to understand a native English speaker as a native English speaker and get the gist of what they're saying. Like the English language had a massive shift about 1500. So like if we were My Immortal Hulk Hogan, the thing that we did once, and we went back to the signing of the Declaration of Independence, and we were sitting there in Independence Hall where they didn't look anything weird at me. They looked weird at maybe two other people on this panel, but not me. But they continued to talk anyway. We would understand everything that they were saying. We would have no problem understanding what they were saying. And if we spoke to them, with the exception of vernacular and slang, we would have no trouble understanding each other. Ben Franklin might want to know what the hell something being radical is, or bodacious or something like that. We could explain it to him, and he would be able to understand it. But we would be able to have a conversation with those folks. And even if we went out to the boondocks and found some farmer that was illiterate but could speak English, we could have a conversation with him because even though he's illiterate, his ears fucking work, and that's how he learned how to speak like the rest of us did. So we would be okay in speaking that. Now, I can't promise that all three of us would return from that farm okay, but we would at least be able to conversate and understand each other. So we could go back in time a good couple of hundred, up to like 400, 500, 600 years and be okay.
I mean, me and Jeff could go back 30 years and we'd be fun. That's about as far as I want to go. I don't want to go any further than that.
We'd be fine in 1985 for sure.
There you go.
But I don't want to go back to 1985 because it's not as glamorous as people think.
If we went back to 1885 and somebody was like looking at us funny, I'd be like, he's Indian. Yeah, that kind. Elizabeth Warren kind. They'd be like, who the hell's Elizabeth Warren? Back, don't worry about it. He's my scout. And then
he's your scout.
And then for Jeff, I'd be like, he's from Hawaii. You heard about those islands, right? Commodore Perry. And they'd be like, sure. I'd be like, I've got his papers. Don't worry. And we'd be good.
Oh gosh.
No, I mean he's related to Thomas Jefferson. Leave him alone.
Hey, speaking of time and ancient stuff, Kendo, my 1911 is actually a 38 Super. Same at Elliott Ness carry to take down Capone. It was also a preferred competition caliber.
Nice.
Nice. That's a very, very nice weapon
Those,
to
yeah,
have with you.
yeah, 1911s are my favorite gun. Those look really nice.
1911s were developed specifically to take down people in a trench. That's why they exist. That's why the 45 caliber exists. It was like, hey, we need a gun that will knock somebody the fuck down. And that's also why we have the 30-06, because it was like, we need to develop a caliber that is portable, but will still knock the shit out of somebody, because those 45-70s are a little too much. Those are hard to manage. And so that's why they came up with that. And they designed the Springfield specifically to carry that load. So next time you're watching Saving Private Ryan, understand those guns are holding 30 cal, specifically 30-06, to clobber the shit out of some Krauts, rightfully so. And that sniper rifle was built specifically to handle that, specific cartridge.
Good to know.
Kendo, speaking of the Krauts, I went down this weird rabbit hole the other night. I was flipping through Netflix and I watched a documentary about a Nazi who hid out in Cleveland.
Nice.
Until he was like, yeah. But that's not the craziest part. So
Okay.
he was found out to essentially or allegedly be this Nazi. John de Manion is his name. So anyway, they can't really arrest him because being a war criminal on American soil against non-Americans, you're not a war criminal here. So they find a way to deport him. He then gets taken by Israel, and they put him on trial, like they're going to kill him. And if they can prove that he's this Nazi, Ivan the Terrible. And they find the one dude in the country to defend him. And this story follows this guy who they eventually discover that he is a Nazi. But the lawyer from Israel gets him off on a technicality because he's not the same Nazi they're looking for. And so then he comes back to America scot-free for another 20 years, only to then be taken by Germany and held. They were going to hold him on trial there, and then he dies in their care at 92 years old.
Oh my god!
But it's so crazy because he's this, not the right Nazi, but the other Nazi. So he wasn't Ivan the Terrible, but it was the craziest story. And I know you're a history buff, so I was wondering, had you ever heard that tale?
No, but I mean, it's kind of funny because it's like, oh, I'm the wrong Joseph Klein. That's a different one or something like that. It's like, common names or something like that. I did find it funny one day while I was sitting at, now that you mentioned that up, with, Nazis that are not the right Nazi. When I was sitting at Arrowhead watching the Chiefs game, and my dad texted me. I figured he's texting me saying, hey, I saw you on TV or something. Now, he texted me because he was watching a history documentary that so happened to be profiling an Austrian Nazi that happens to have the same surname as us. And he wanted to be like, he'd be like, hey, did you hear about this one that that was, whatever. He's like, hey, have you ever heard of this guy? And I'm like, the Nazi? Because I had heard about it before, because one of my college friends thought it was funny to find out that I had the same name. So therefore I had to be related to him. I'm like, you understand that last name is extremely common in Austria and Germany because it's like Smith or Thomas. Not common here, but it is common, in parts of the world where, there's a bunch of Krauts. And so I just responded with that. He goes, yeah, I'm watching. It's on the History Channel right now. I'm like, well, I'm kind of at the football game, so I'll have to check that one out when I get home. But he thought that was hilarious that we were, had the same last name as a famous Nazi. I'm like, yeah, imagine if your name was last name was like Himmler or something like that. You would, you'd be related to a really famous one that is not well liked at all, like any of them. So yeah,
Great Grandpa Heinrich.
Grandpa Heinrich.
We find things. I find it cool that I have the same last name as a Blues goalie, so I can actually wear a Blues shirt with my own name on it as an adult without looking like an asshole. So I'm like, hey, all right, cousin Joel made it.
I like that.
Oh, Aurora Uplinks, thank you. Oh, it's good to hear you guys having fun. We are. We're definitely having a good time.
What we're doing. Yes, the last name Slice is extremely Austrian, except for it's got, an S set on there, and there should be at least 4 umlauts, even though technically one of those letters doesn't have one, but yes.
What's a double umlaut look like, Kendo? Is it like
It-
stacked?
it
Yeah.
looks-
Why am I asking these? My family's German too.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Fuck,
say.
I know these things.
There-
What's
there's
it?
no-
You took German in high school.
And
Yeah.
college. I took it for
Oh,
4
college,
years,
college,
man.
yeah.
We could theoretically conversate to each other in German, even though we've never
Yeah.
been back 400 years. Yeah. But the funny thing is, yeah,
Langsam.
ich spreche Sie Deutsch. Yeah. So, the umlaut, you don't double it; it just gets a triangle. And it looks like the predator dots. There you go. Like the predator dots that we've made lots of pictures of you at Loudy's wedding with, and sent them
You
to
guys
each
were having
other
the
for
best
fun.
time, and I wasn't involved. I was stuck in the wedding.
We
being
were-
the
You were
good friend.
involved. You were more than
The
involved.
target.
because The predator kept targeting you.
Dude,
Yeah,
we
I was
were
sitting there
we were
eating up on the dais, and all of a sudden I get pictures with my face with a fucking bullseye on my head.
yeah, from across the room.
Yeah, it's like, thanks, guys, thanks.
We had to entertain ourselves. What better way to entertain us than pretend the predator
Yeah.
was in the building?
Yeah,
and
we
only
almost
targeting
got
Jeff.
we almost got kicked out of the actual wedding.
Yeah, when you were in the church doing that, I was like, this isn't my wedding. I wouldn't get
Be
mad
fair.
if my friends were rip shit drunk in the back, laughing it up at a church ceremony. I think it's hilarious.
To be fair,
But-
it was not me. Me and Dan were innocent. We were just playing Pokemon Go.
Yeah,
the entire
Dan
time.
knows because he went to Catholic school with me for many years, so
Yeah.
we had
Yeah,
to
well.
live by the rules. Our friend JD Williams 1202, thank you JD Williams, says I got an Ollie's opening up in my town soon. I'm frightened. Well, don't be frightened. You're gonna enjoy
Wait.
it. It's
You're
not a
gonna-
scary
Jeez.
place.
Well, just yeah,
JD Williams from Ohio. I think we have somebody kind of high up in the government listening to our channel.
that'd be impressive. That'd be really impressive.
Yes.
Well, I mean, JD Vance
Well-
is definitely a fan of the show.
Yeah, sure thing. Sure thing, JD Williams, you hillbilly with your elegy.
JD Williams, thank you. What you can expect from an Ollie's is old merchandise that other stores don't want.
Oh yeah,
And,
ton of
and
old shit.
food that is on the cusp of expiration. So read all the labels. I don't buy food from Ollie's unless it's like coffee.
It's like buying food from the dollar store. It's a bad idea, but yeah. Anyway,
Go
thank you for the
get,
message,
like, Bailey's
JD
Irish Cream
Williams.
coffee,
If you could get us blanket partons, we'd appreciate it.
This is a different JD.
That'd be
This
great.
one's in Milwaukee, which is Algonquin for the good land, as you all know.
I mean, that's true. They've also elected 3 socialist mayors. But then again, if I was JD Williams, I would also say I was from Milwaukee instead of where I'm really from. So I'm on to you. I'm on to you, sir. Respect.
Oh.
I feel like Vance would be helping with Doge right now. He wouldn't be listening to a podcast.
That's bullshit. You know he'd be listening to us because he would find us entertaining. His wife would be like, "Oh my god, I can finally identify with somebody on a podcast." And
That's probably his
JD.
excuse for listening. That's his excuse for listening to us. Like, honey, like one of the guys is Indian. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's cool.
and then
it's kosher.
and he'd
It's
be
okay.
like, "And that guy's right there is from Ohio, so now I can identify with somebody from Ohio on a podcast."
Yeah, I mean, hell, Middletown's only about a half an hour
Oh,
drive
God.
away, so
Yeah,
That's-
and then he can
that's
also look at
funny.
me and be like, "Hey, I can identify with a white idiot from the Sticks on the podcast." I'm like, yeah, there you go. You've got it all. You've got an Ohioan.
God.
You've got everything you two need on a podcast.
we are your favorite show on the internet, folks. So that's how we're going to officially rebrand ourselves now.
There you go.
Welcome to World
There
Class
you go.
Bullshitters, your favorite show on the internet. I know it's my favorite. I don't know what we'd talk about with the president if he showed up. I would ask him the hard-hitting questions like, why did you take that Stone Cold Stunner so poorly? Or was Macaulay Culkin hard to deal with? I know he was just a kid, but he deserved the $4 million. And can I, too, have a small loan of $1 million? I can do everything in my life differently if I have a
Yeah,
small
can we all
loan from
can
you.
we all get one small loan of $1 million? Like, that's all we'd want.
Yeah, is there any work I can do for the government to become, I don't know, tax exempt forever? I'll do it.
Yeah.
Ohio is a good home because I lived away for many years out in California, Los Angeles to be exact, the same land that burned and then had a flood the following week with mudslides and shit. And now earthquakes are possible. I don't miss Los Angeles at all. It was fun for a week or so, then the pandemic happened, and it was a nightmare. But when I did return back to Ohio, I realized that Cincinnati, at least, has a lot of shit, and there's always something to do, and I haven't regretted moving back once. So,
And you don't have to drive that far either. Not across the state.
No. I just see you guys in an afternoon if I want to, which I'll be seeing you very soon, Nick, so it's going to be good.
Cannot wait. I've haven't done this convention ever. I don't know what to expect. And it's nice.
You will not be the only person at the table because I had already had other people coming down to help build me a set, but it's going to be a party. It's going to be a good weekend.
All right. Well, then I gotta bring the cooler in my suit then.
Yes. Yeah. Ooh, I got a new jacket. Should I wear the new jacket? It's red.
Yes, you should.
It's cool. Yeah.
Definitely.
I also bought a Garbage Day sweater. Oh, shit. I forgot to press somebody's Garbage Day button earlier. Hold on a second. I just remembered that. I am so sorry. Where is your Garbage Day button? I hope they didn't.
You had
I
one
hate
job.
This show now. They don't,
one job.
They don't press it.
One job.
Press the button.
What the fuck, man?
I have multiple jobs.
What are you doing? You're fucking up.
I'm going to drop kick you in the chest.
No, the fuck you're not.
I know. I'm going to wait till I see you in person and then take you up into an airplane and do this.
There is a distillery nearby where the convention is, and there's also a bar that is like walking distance from the place as well.
Well, shit, you know better than me.
Yeah, because I've done Scarefest down there like 2 or 3 times in the last few years, so like I know that area very well.
Pretty big. Should I work it?
I did send you the link for I think the workshop stuff that happens next month. But yeah, I mean, if you want to, I already got an Airbnb booked like across the street from, like, you can just walk from the Airbnb to the convention. So,
well, I guess I'm gonna work this convention now.
Yeah, I mean they still have. I think they still have the vendor.
It hasn't even started yet.
I don't know. It hasn't. Yeah. So
nope.
yeah. But yeah,
well,
I already
work big shows. So
no, it is a good show to work. It did get packed last year because last year you had Matthew Lillard and Skeet Ulrich and a bunch of people from Scream. Like, they had lines out the door. Like, it was wild. They had so many people there. But there's a good amount of people. If you want to work it, I think you would be good. You'd sell some stuff for sure.
Time to clean up at the cons, folks. That was my job before YouTube. I kind of miss it.
Yeah, and I mean it's Lexington. It's not that far from you. So it's 2 hours. It's 2 hours. Yeah,
it's 2 hours to drive to Lexington. So
yeah,
I do that. Folks, here's that button by request.
Garbage Day! Huh? No!
Thank you for your infinite patience. I apologize to whoever had to wait all show long for that Garbage Day, but hopefully it was epic for you, because now I'm going to wear my Garbage Day sweater and reenact that scene at a later date. Enrique Vasquez, thank you very much. He sends in the super chat, which is of the utmost importance because it's a time-based one. Before my phone dies, I saw the Royal Rumble, and I was excited when I heard his name. Oh, his name, and he appears... Yeah, he did appear. Joe Hendry was at the Royal Rumble. Also, is Kevin Owens okay? That last move looked very painful and risky. Also, why does Chad Gable look like he's in a video game that has a cheat code with the big head mode on? I didn't like the winner, and I think the women's match was better. All right, so Enrique, first off, thank you. I'm going to read these. Now, in terms of the Royal Rumble, the guys and I were just, and these are the local friends, none of us were in love with the show. I didn't think either Rumble had a good winner. I thought the women's was predictable. And Jey Uso wasn't feeling it because it's just Jey Uso versus Gunther. You're not going to get Jey Uso versus Cody Rhodes in the main event. And so you could have had something more interesting and different, but there's always more than one way to get to the main event of WrestleMania. So it's got that going for it. Kevin Owens is fine. He's a consummate professional. Or is he? No, look, I don't want to ruin the fun of wrestling, but he'll be back. He'll be back. But yeah, that was a serious move he took on that ladder. But, I mean, it hurts like a mofo. The dude's not, ambivalent to pain. He wishes he was. And then in terms of Chad Gable, it's just bad genetics.
I was excited to see that jackass Speed get beaten up immediately.
Oh, dude, he took a hell of a spear.
He did. I was surprised that guy took him out because he was bouncing around the ring, and I was like, "Oh, is he gonna do it?" Boom, he did it, man. Oh, I'm sure he got fucking rocked.
Yeah, he got hurt. They posted some picture to Twitter of some injury.
Yeah, I think his ankle or leg or something got scraped or whatever. It wasn't. I mean, it was. He just got scraped. That's all it was. I mean, it's gonna be painful for a bit, but I mean, you'll live. Nothing important was broken or punctured or anything. So, yeah, you'd be fine.
Yeah,
I mean, even if it got CTE, you wouldn't know.
No. I avoided a tasteless Benoit joke there. No, I was so hyped for the Royal Rumble. I watched a Rumble. We watched 5 Royal Rumbles on Royal Rumble Saturday. We watched 3 before the show and 2 of the show. And we're never going to do that again because the Rumbles that we watched were better than this year's current Rumbles. And that was the letdown. We're sitting there on the edge of our seat for the 03 Rumble last week. Like, man, this is great. We know the winner, but this is a good match. Or Phil had never seen the 05 Rumble, which has the biggest twist ending. And he had never seen it. And he's like, this is the match where this happens? We were having a blast. And then you get to the newer ones, and we were just disappointed. It would have been cool to see more surprises, but overall, I just didn't like who won.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I watched the last little bit of it. It was. Yeah, it wasn't. Wasn't that impressive?
Excuse me. No, it was not that impressive. And WrestleMania is not gearing up to be anything exciting. I don't care. You blame me?
No, I don't, because it's been, the price has gone up for something that is still, not that, still not that good of a product yet. I mean, I'm glad it's changed hands to Triple H, but it's still, it seems like they're still trying to right the car, before it really careens off, and they're doing somewhat of a good job, but it's still taking too goddamn long.
Yeah, wrestling was really good last year in the build-up to WrestleMania 30 or 40, and then this year they definitely have dropped the ball. I think around the SummerSlam last year, wrestling kind of died on the vine again, and it's been, kind of disappointing. And yeah, you are lucky that you never cared about pro wrestling, because it's like chasing a high. Because when wrestling is
it really
good,
is.
When wrestling is good, man, there is nothing better. You will travel anywhere in the world to watch it. You will make friends. I have made all of my, honestly, with the exception of Nick, all of my friends have been made through wrestling. That includes Dion. That includes Kendo. That includes all my local friends. Every friend that's a lifelong friend has come from liking wrestling. But also, my buddy Dan and I will look back and go, most of our life watching wrestling has been shitty. And so it's been kind of disappointing. So it's kind of a weird thing where, you start out and it's the greatest it's ever been. Attitude Era, Rock, Stone Cold, Triple H. It's like, it blows your mind. And then it stops being that. And then you're like, who is Mason Ryan? What is the Core? Why is Brodus Clay dancing before the main event of WrestleMania? And it's mostly garbage for decades. And then it gets good again, and then it falls off again. So you are happy just to not watch wrestling. You are better off because you will be disappointed in the long run.
Yeah. It's just rough to watch it. I mean, that's why I don't watch the weekly stuff anymore. I'll just watch the big ones with you guys, and that's it. I just don't care that much anymore.
Yeah, it was much better back in the day.
It was. Yeah. Speaking of nostalgia again, I remember when me and my cousins would take every other, like we would buy every other pay-per-view, record it for somebody and give them the tape so they could watch it the next day. It got like, I think my older cousin got so like crazy about it. He would demand the tape from us as soon as it ended. He would drive over and be like, "Give me the tape, man. I need to watch it now." And he would, once it ended at like, midnight or whatever, he'd spend the entire night watching it, by himself. It was crazy.
That's more dedication than I ever had. Like, we would we'd order some pay-per-views, and then I would go to B-dubs starting in high school. Like, that was the fun part. We would just, we were all in high school, staying out till, a midnight on school night, thinking that was cool.
Yep. That was it back then. Yeah. No, that's what we would do. We would trade off every other pay-per-view because my brother was a big fan, bigger than I was at the time, and they would trade off. And my older cousin, I think he was driving at the time, like he got real, I don't know, he got real weird and whatever, and just he would constantly demand it, like as soon as it was done. It was crazy, but whatever.
I get it, man. Rock Stone Cold was a game changer. I had to watch that shit as it aired.
Shit, man. Yeah, I fucking love Stone Cold. So much fun.
Yeah, that is the when I think of a wrestler that you like, because you were rocking that shirt to WrestleMania 33.
Shit, I was. Yeah. That was a fun fucking trip. That was such a fun trip.
It was a good trip. We were very, very drunk.
I think all the videos I made on there are still on our Patreon.
Well, there you go, folks. Before I decided to take them down, go watch them.
Yeah. If you want to see stuff from like the, I don't know, the first 5 years of the show, I think
2. We had
first 2. Oh shit, the first 2.
Years. It was
my god,
like a year and change, because we started end of 2015, and that was early 2017 that we're down there.
Oh shit, dude. Yeah. So then, that's what it was, because they once again they drove down from Ohio to come get me, and I brought all my camera equipment like a moron to shoot all kinds of stuff that was there. And I think we did Bean Boozle, we did King Cup, we did a bunch of other shit that I like had, and it was all there. And just a bunch of shit that I was shooting all the time. Like, it was so much fun. There's even stuff from our New Orleans trip that I shot that's there. So that's I think we did the haunted bar tour is the one, or the drunken ghost tour is what I shot as well. So that's
our
on
tour
Patreon.
guide was awesome.
She was very cute.
Yeah, she was. Her and her umbrella.
Yeah. That was a fun trip as well. I had a lot of fun on that one.
That's the best WrestleMania trip I ever had. Like, have you ever, and folks, I know you're thinking like they're talking inside baseball. No, this is where you guys come in. Have you ever done something where everything was just perfect? Like every meal decision, every conversation you had, like even the movies that popped up on TV were good.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, we had like some really good luck with that shit. Yeah,
it was like UHF and Tommy Boy, because Dan and I will still talk about this back to back, because we all woke up early because we drank till 2 or 3 in the morning, but we're up at like 8, or all up at 8. Nobody woke anybody up. We just all kind of woke up, and we start watching TV, and it's UHF, and we're recovering. Then Tommy Boy comes on, and then we're all starting to get ready to leave, and then we go out and have like one of the best meals ever. And then we go down to the casino and have a great time. And then we have a great meal at the... You know what I'm saying? Like, everything just worked. That is why that trip is,
Yeah, we did...
favorite WrestleMania.
Oh, dude, yeah, we did Bourbon Street and everything. We were walking down there, seeing all the craziness with that. Like, it was so much fun. So much fun. It was a good time. It was a damn good time. Here's the funny thing. If it's ever in Orlando again, we just take the Bright Line train instead of driving 4 hours to Miami and come back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a nice train there that goes throughout the most of the state that we can just take like almost anywhere. So it's a lot easier.
I just wish it wouldn't go back to Florida for a while, because it's always kind of a hassle to go to Florida for WrestleMania. Unless it's Miami, then it's just Miami. That's a special city.
It is.
Well, Shribbles, are you going to tell me where you went in 2006? You can't just my summer trip. Oh. Many trips. You got to say where you went. My summer trip in 2005 was to Spain and Germany. That was cool.
I think last year in January was awesome, because I went with my cousin Jamesh. We went to CES in Vegas. Then from Vegas we went to Jamaica, Panama, back to LA to see my family and his his mom and dad there. Spent a week there with them, and then I came back finally. So it was a lot of like trekking around the globe kind of shit.
All right, Indiana Jones.
I will say this: Panama is cheap as fuck. It is very, very cheap.
Let's go down with like $500 each and just see what we can
Dude,
do.
five. Oh man, you get a lot of trouble with $500. Seriously. The Uber
Here you
ride.
can go to Waffle House, and that's about it nowadays.
Well, they have that. Did you hear about the surcharge with Waffle House?
Yeah, I was about to say the egg surge charge. I'm not going to any restaurant that charges more for eggs. I'm sorry, I'm gonna be cheap. I'm just gonna stay at home.
I don't blame you. I really don't. But it's funny because they blame it on the president, but it's like it's been happening behind the scenes for like almost a year now. When you hear about all the stuff that's they went through, like it's just been going downhill for a while, and it finally hit when he's in office, and they blame him. I'm like, no, it's been. If you've read the news a lot, it's been happening for a bit now. It just finally hit his peak. So.
Yeah, I saw that video at Costco. People were like taking dozens of eggs at a time.
Yeah, do you see the guy with the cart? The guy with the giant cart of fucking eggs.
Is it wrong that I wanted to like just go kick his cart over? Like,
no, it would have been funny as shit.
Like you don't need. Like, are you literally hoarding eggs?
Well, I mean, I guess it's. I don't know. I mean.
The pandemic has ruined society.
It really
fight
has.
over eggs and toilet paper. Like
the shit you would throw at houses on Halloween night is the shit we're fighting over.
Dude, you can't watch those John Hughes movies anymore because it's like, who would waste toilet paper? Who would waste eggs?
Yeah.
Like, who needs to go on 12 job interviews to find a job? Like, those are joke numbers. No, now it's nothing,
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, it's wild. But no, I saw that. Yeah, I saw the Costco cart thing. But I mean, even when I went to go groceries yesterday, yeah, the entire the egg section is like there's almost nothing there, but it's not as bad as I've seen in some places. Like I've seen it's high, but it's not like astronomical like it is I've seen in some of the places. So it's not bad. I'm just not gonna buy eggs for a long time.
Well, that is in Cincinnati, we avoid all kinds of problems somehow. Like our bridges catch fire because a bunch of
you guys have a lot of weird stuff happen.
But our eggs are also
fine.
regularly priced, so within a degree of reason. But
and I know
Weird
some...
Ohio podcast where it's like weird
God.
shit that happened in Cincinnati this week.
You're not wrong.
A guy tried to run away from the cops, so he hit and he went from one state to another, hit under the bridge. That's the weirdest thing that's happened lately. I don't know if he
traffic on 85 was backed up. I think it was last Saturday. Because somebody was going to jump off a bridge here, and then they got talked down. So,
I'm glad they got talked down.
Yeah, but my buddy was trying to go to downtown Atlanta because there was some like release party or something for a friend that he had for some album, and he couldn't make it. He was like an hour late because this guy was going to jump and block traffic. So,
anytime I hear about a jumper, I know this is not that funny, but it makes me think of Scary Movie. The teacher, and it's like, I'm gonna jump, and she goes, "What are you waiting for?" And he goes, "Fuck you."
not to what is it, Van Wilder, where he's like, "We got a jumper."
Oh God,
where it's Booger.
Dude, I own that movie. I don't think I've watched it more than like 5 times.
Oh my God,
it's funny.
It's good. I remember the dog scene with the pastries, like the first time I watched it. Like I almost threw up the first time I watched it. I was like, "This is fucking disgusting."
Yeah, but that's like terrible. The best gag in that whole movie.
It is good. It is.
You'll
really
never
hilarious.
forget it.
Nope. And they could never do that again, ever.
Yeah. Because you shouldn't.
I mean, it should be a funny joke, but you can't have nice things anymore.
Well, every movie kind of has its defining scene. Would you say that is Van Wilder's defining scene?
Yeah, because he really wanted to get back at the frat guys, and he did it with like, it was just hilarious the way he did it.
Yeah.
And
it
really stuck with him.
Yeah, that's the most iconic part of that fucking movie.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think about Van Wilder. Like, it's funny. It had had nice moments here and there, but that was like the crescendo of like the whole thing where like this is the gag in the movie that everybody's gonna remember, and it's fucking it's disgusting and hilarious. It was. I mean, I think also they were kind of pulling from Jackass as well during that time. I feel like
That
that's
was
kind
the
of where
end
that
of
came from.
Tara Reid being on the A-list too.
It was. Yeah.
Now she's just there.
She's not on any list.
No, she's on what's the
Sharknado
list of actors that have starred in
Sharknado?
That's the list she's in.
She's on the S list.
Yeah, she's on the S list. She's on the Sharknado list.
So is Kurt Angle, American hero.
Yeah, but I feel like Kurt Angle's got more going for him than Tara Reid.
He does. He's an Olympic gold medalist and a Hall of Famer, and I respect him. So,
yeah, I'm surprised Tara Reid hasn't started a podcast yet. In all honesty,
give it time.
In terms of good toy news, not really this week. There's not a lot of big stuff coming that's exciting me. I mean, I do like the new RoboCop that they're showing, the one that looks like the movie poster, but that's kind of it. I picked up, I got a 5-point from Mezco, Superman, the Fleischer Superman. They made a toy of it.
Oh,
it looks
shit,
like the
nice.
old cartoon. Yeah, it's neat.
That's awesome. That's good.
I got the Adam West Batman, and then I got the animated series Batman to go with that, and then I got Michael Keaton on pre-order, and they've only done one other set, and I thought, well, it's like 70% off, so why not get it? So eventually I will set up my Fleischer Superman. It comes with Lois, Clark, the giant robot, and like a...
Oh, that giant robot is awesome. Oh my god.
It transforms. It's more than meets the eye. Oh, Kendo, did you hear last week's closer with the meninblack.com song?
No, I did not.
Oh, I'll have to send it to you because the end of last week shows like 35 seconds of that song. And every time it does it goes .com.
Nice.
.com. Because it was too easy. I'm sitting there doing, I'm like, wait, this might work. And then, see, folks, there's a reason to listen to all the versions of the show on different platforms because we give you a little something extra each and every week. So everyone that's out there, you're going to go check out the downloadable version and download it this week to see what Kendo song appears if there is one. So I'm looking forward to what I'm going to make with our voice clips in the future. But, guys, is there anything we've missed this week? Or do you think we're good about 2.5 hours, 2:45?
I think we're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I don't think
folks,
there's anything else pertinent, so we're good.
Next week's going to be a big week for the channel. You're going to see a lot more from me. This week I've been taking care of Stealing Solo 2 and logistical stuff for Wokebusters. You guys will be getting all your information in the coming days, and then I'll be either shipping it out, signing it, or remarking it for everybody. But I'm taking care of everybody, and then I will see the rest of you at the Lexington Comic and Toy Show. In a month from today, the 6th of March through the 9th, I will be there. Come hang out. Bring me your Shuricopters. I don't know what to do with them, but I'll tell you thanks because I appreciate all
Whatever.
you guys.
If you're coming to the Lexington toy and comic show, bring an Ollie's toy that's like $2 and have Jeff sign it. bring a Shuricopter and have him sign it. Do that.
Yeah, all proceeds will go to the Jeff Hicks Needs a Deep Dish Pizza Fund.
There you go. The Deep Dish Pizza Fund. It'll go that.
We should start a charity called the Deep Dish Pizza Fund where we just feed hungry kids pizza of the deep dish variety. We get everyone hooked on deep dish. It's more than a casserole. It's the future.
As long as it's not that fucking Chicago shit, which is, I mean, it's good, but
that is deep dish, bro.
That's something else, isn't it? It's just
no Chicago style deep dish is what I'm talking about.
All right. Yeah, that stuff. Yeah, that's.
You can't be a part of the future then, man. The Deep Dish Pizza Fund is just something I'm gonna have to do on my own time. It's my passion project.
Fine, I'll work on writing our burrito verse then. I'll get into that.
Yeah, Attack of the Killer Burritos coming 2028, folks, to a theater near you.
Killer burrito,
dude. If you
now,
you can go to Attack of the Killer Burrito.
Are they a bunch of burritos attacking people, or is it one giant burrito? Like how is it?
If the effects don't look too hokey, I'm cool with one giant burrito, like a nuclear-powered burrito. No, Nuclearito has got to be its own thing. Because that's got to fight Godzilla. No, this will be like a bunch of killer burritos. So,
Okay. So it's more of a zombie thing. Gotcha.
yeah.
All right. I'll try to make a janky poster in Procreate and see what I can get.
I mean, I'm an artist, Nick. I'll just make a good poster.
Okay, because I
folks-
just use elements from Canva and like trace shit. That's all I do.
Oh, I designed stuff. Like, in this little notebook, I designed our costumes for Stealing Solo 2. Because in the beginning of the book, we're in our pajamas, or our house clothes, whatever you want to call it. And then as we get kidnapped, Mark Hamill at least lets us change our clothing. And so I thought, well, what are we going to wear? Because this book takes place during a rainstorm. So I was like, well, we used to have jackets on. So I sat and I mapped out what we would wear in the color guide and everything.
I love it.
Dude, that's the thing that people don't think about. Like, when you do it all, you have to think of it all. I can't just send it to a colorist because though any colorist does this, like, tealish blue and pink combo that's, like, I guess looks good, but I hate those two colors together.
Oh,
so
okay.
I always tell my people, like, do not use these colors. And I give them, like, I do photo reference to a T, like, their uniforms are this color. Please light the characters like this. Like, you can't misinterpret what I'm looking for in any of these books. I'm very descriptive.
So yeah,
They like
because I feel like the pink and teal thing is almost like it happened in Hollywood I think it happened with Michael Bay when he was doing the blue and the orange lighting on people all the time. Like that's the thing. It's still a thing now, and it's a little bit irritating. I still fucking hate it. Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I guess I'll mock them up and give them to you, and you can refine them or something, since you're working on the book.
Yeah, we're gonna surprise you with that. I tell you, man, if I could come up with a 5-page story after Stealing Solo 2, it could have a backup: Attack of the Killer Burritos in comic book form.
Like I said, we could make the movie. We just need a bunch of like puppeted burritos on a green screen, and we can do this.
The vision has to be like Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. Where we
Oh my god!
It needs to be treated with the right verisimilitude. Like, it can be hokey looking, but the movie has to treat it like it's real.
So you want Birdemic, but just like of a higher caliber.
No, I mean Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds, Nick. We're
Okay,
not.
all right.
No Birdemic. We're not even in the same hemisphere.
Okay,
We're talking like,
all right.
oh my god, there's a flock of killer birds. We gotta run. Oh my god, there's a flock of killer burritos. We gotta run. Like, there's no time to ask where the killer burritos come from. There is a human drama. We need to tell about two high school lovers that are reuniting at the fucking reunion as the killer burritos attack. We need to worry about that stuff and the drama. And how their kid is possibly a future warrior from a different dimension. There's a wormhole. Like, it's got to have something for everybody. And there's merchandising tie-ins and connections to overseas box office. Like, it's a winner, Nick. Just a fucking winner, man.
I can't wait to have beers and discuss this at the Comic and Toy Expo or whatever convention, and just incessantly try to write everything down as all these ideas come flooding through.
You know what we'll do? We'll bring back the cassette recorders. We'll get those little ones and we'll just record ourselves. Note to self. And then we'll rewind it and play it back and laugh like, hey, it's our voice.
You have a notes app on your phone, goddammit.
I want it on tape because that's what all the cool kids are doing these days, all right?
God.
Yeet, skibbity, and all that other bullshit.
I will... Jesus.
Yeah, I'm done. So, folks, thank you for watching. We'll be back next time with more. In the meantime, be smart, be safe, be cool, but always be excellent to each other.
.com.
Who's that Pokemon?